And we're back with Heavensfire, Rekindled. Hello, everyone. This is an interactive tarot show, and we're playing D&D 5th edition. I'm Essie, or Erin, your host, and I'm excited to be back on alternating Saturdays with all of the lovely people of our community and of the internet. Welcome back to Heavensfire again, and I'm Essie, she, her, the storyteller for the evening, and we're going to go around the table and meet some of the lovely folks that we're going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons and pulling some tarot cards with tonight. So let's start in the traditional rotation. And Renee, hello. Who are you and who are you playing tonight?
Hello, my name is Renee, pronouns she, her, and I will be playing Harmony Knights, my saucy half-elf, draconic sorcerer warlock. Howdy, y'all. I'm ready to play.
Awesome. And corresponding links for each cast member will be placed in the chat via Nightbot commands. And Rory of the RGB Vision, hello. Who are you and who are you playing tonight?
My name is Rory, they, he, and I am playing Key, our lovely half-elf warlock with daddy issues, they, them.
Okay, awesome. And Avalon Willowbloom VO, hello, friend. Who are you and who are you playing tonight?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Avalon, she, her, or they, them, and I play Willow, the half-elf artificer.
Very cool. All right, and Garnet. Hello, Garnet. Who are you and who are you playing tonight?
Hello, I am Garnet. She, they. I will be playing Amina Nazinga, the glamour bard. Also she, they.
Awesome. Thank you, Garnet. And who would like to do a recap of where we left off last session? For DM inspiration and or a luck point. Hey, there we go. Now I have a map.
I mean, the easiest way to summarize the last session is that it was a whole bunch of gaslighting. Just
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Yep.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. It was terrible.
I respect it. I respect it.
So as we were trying to deal with the dead teenager and various other things, Darius, Alessia, and cohorts showed up along with Harmony, along with Harmony and a small contingent of soldiers. On the other side, as Amina and Willow were coming back to the warehouse, Key and Fiera showed up. Fiera? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. Willow tried to investigate, but through a combination of bad rolls and being babysat by Alessia, didn't really find much of particular use.
You found a dagger, didn't you? Or something.
I didn't get to keep it on account of Alessia taking it.
Yeah.
It was a really cool dragon dagger.
You were not rolling well last
I
session.
was not. Last session was a rough night for Willow, which
We all have sessions
fits
like
the
that.
story, so we're good. No, I'm not complaining. I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm really not. 'Tis the dice. Anyway, after that we went back to the embassy, right? We stayed at the Kyrosian embassy?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, we went back there and sort of whiled away the rest of our evening. Amina played outside for a while, and if I remember right, I said Willow fell asleep in the bath. And yeah, we all just kind of wound down for the evening. And that was where we left off.
Very good. Go ahead and give yourself a DM inspiration or a luck point if you already have DM inspiration. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So let's just jump right back in. So, yes, you had slept the evening at the Kyrosian Embassy, the military city of Bastion's Hold. After tracking down, or attempting to track down, an assassin who had eliminated two young individuals who were caught up in a larger conspiracy, the Eocosta showed up, as Avalon had stated. There was a lot of gaslighting from the Dragon Keepers, essentially the Secret Service of the Crown. A lot of what seemed like cover-ups. You had a lot of pending investigations and pending concerns about what had happened at the warehouse, and Mabel, distraught about everything that had happened after sleeping on it, as you rouse at first light to the banging of pounding fists on the outside of the door and a message: the Lawmaster wishes to see all of you sooner than later, and that as the courier had said vacation is over, Mabel seems to have left a note saying that she was going for a walk to clear her head with Dawn as well as Ambassador Ivana. There is also a note that based on recent communications from the Dragon Keepers, who she has some very choice words about, that the heat that was originally placed on the embassy due to the propaganda leaflets that had been dispersed throughout the city allegedly by the two individuals that were assassinated. The two 18, 19-year-old kids that were assassinated and allegedly seemingly paid an inordinate, exorbitant amount of coin to do so, and were promptly silenced. One making it out alive, but after being assisted by the Dragon Keepers, now seems to be afflicted with some brand of mental instability or some sort of spell effect that may have altered his mind state. Thus the continued gaslighting from the villains, etc. So, hello, Diesel Shot. In the early morning light of dawn, I'll get the date. Unholy Trinity, indeed. I'll get the exact date for you in a second. As I check my notes, I'm running about 6 different games, so there's a lot of dates and numbers to keep track of. But as dawn rises and you're greeted by the pounding at the door, the message, the courier, and the note from Mabel, this is where we're going to go ahead and pick up the session from last time. So, yet to be named Dragon Keeper auxiliaries. You can hear the chirping of birds and some of the gardens, both the interior garden here at the embassy, which has sort of a Kyrosian hanging garden with Kyrosian plants. Karnos is most of the major cities of the empire are centered in and around desert regions, so there are a lot of there are 2 palm trees in this that sort of palm plants, sort of desert plants that surround the interior of the courtyard. Some small desert trees have been well tended and sort of kept to a certain height, as well as some beautiful desert plants, lots of different colors, lots of oranges and greens. It's very pretty. Definitely not native to the more sort of deciduous, temperate Valtheria, but are well tended by the long sequence of ambassadors who have operated this embassy for several decades now. And this is where we're picking up with the chirping of birds and the early morning rousal, and also a very interesting dream and a new item that Harmony Knives seems to have discovered in her room.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, you guys. Don't worry about it.
Sort of a bioorganic mesh netting mask, alabaster mask, with just the shape of a face, that's sort of effeminate, sleek and slender, and it's sitting in this jar of formaldehyde, and along with the other metallic insects that you had combined, whether intentionally or
Well, I
not,
mean,
they kind of crawled in there.
Of course it's sitting there in formaldehyde. How else would you pickle a face?
Yes, or some type of formaldehyde-like substance. Anyway, that's where we're picking up the session. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
There, God, thank you, Avalon. Interestingly enough, carry on.
So I guess Harmony wakes up with a start. Today does not start as a good day.
Certainly an interesting way to wake up.
And she's just, it's almost like she's had a night terror. It's just like she's covered in sweat. Her hair is drenched. She has slight bags under her eyes. And I think she just spends the first kind of 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes just staring at this mask that suddenly appeared on her desk trying to go through her memories and see if she recognizes this figure that's asked her to save them, and looking at the mask and being curious about why it was made, how it was made, what would happen if she put it on. And that curious part of her brain just keeps leaning closer and closer to this mask. She's not putting it on, but the eagerness is there in her body language. Until she kind of snaps out of it and realizes she has to get ready for the day.
Yes.
So she very gingerly tries to, like, I don't know why I said a chopstick. It might be because we have like a whole ton of spare chopsticks in our house, but like she tries to use something to like pick it up so she's not directly touching it.
Well, it's inside the jar itself, so you could so you have been handling the jar pretty regularly. It's just a standard jar, mason jar, that's been sort of screwed on there. That was in the shop, right? It was in Granny's general goods magic section back on Halavas, and you've been handling it without incident. Though, if you want to call the sort of the dream influence an incident, you can, but. You've otherwise been handling it, and also the vision of those sort of tiny insectoid machines, whether it was real or hallucination, was also part of that too, and seems to have affected that. Now, I think you actually, did you combine them yourselves, or was that part of like a lucid dreaming experience with the insectoid machines?
We combined them as a part of a experiment.
That's right.
For science.
Okay. Perfect.
So she will then, if it's in the mason jar, because I thought it was outside the mason jar, apologies.
It's in there, yeah. You can very easily like wrap it up.
Okay,
wrap up the jar.
Wrap that temptation up. Wrap it up. And she's gonna put it in her satchel and get dressed and try to use as much makeup that she has as possible to not look like shit. And then we'll go out to meet the others.
Okay, well, for Avalon's tarot card, D20 rollies, everybody. Let's see who gets the first benefit of a herbal tincture that has been left by Mabel. A special, very specific Chirosian recipe. And I'll put the results in the Roll20 chat.
I said not me, because I rolled a 3.
3, 16, 12.
Oh no. Replace your dice.
9, 16, Harmony. Okay, Harmony, roll a d4 for me.
Different dice.
With the
They're
3
not
of
the same
plants.
ones.
A gift that has been left by Mabel. Upright, so that means it's some sort of a benefit for the party.
Oh.
Yeah, a little tincture that's been left by Mabel. Sort of like this herbal paste.
It's a really good bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
A really good bowl of oatmeal for the first thing in the morning.
I got a 4.
D4, 4 and a D4, okay. Oh, okay. Ooh. I stand corrected. Rather, there is a tincture, and you would assume that because it was left by Mabel, there's a little tag that says at the very end of the note that she left that said, I have left this tincture for all of you. And then on the opposite side, there's a little arrow that says flip the page. As you flip the page, this was left sort of in the office, right? So in the general office, not any one particular person's room. And then as you flip it, it says in bold lettering that she's written across the whole page, poison for you-know-who. Without actually naming a name. Or a deadly Chirosian nightshade. So you have a vial of Chirosian nightshade that was likely intended as a middle finger to Darius. But she didn't actually say that to avoid incriminating herself. And there's just a little vial of sort of, it's like this green and black paste that kind of has a little bit of liquid in it, and you can swirl it around there. So
yeah, Harmony will swirl it around and is pretty impressed by her boldness. Harmony will give her that.
And also on the note, there was a note that the Drow of the Crimsonwood, who you had spent the night conversing with, Amina, has also gone for a stroll with Mabel and with Dawn. So they have left together. And there is also a secondary note for you, Amina, in your room. That's just a folded piece of parchment, and it says, "Thanks for the conversation. Looking forward to our next meeting amidst the stars." It's signed, your friend, Seer.
So Amina doesn't notice that quite right away. She comes out of her trance and is in a mild panic because Dawn is not there. She went into her trance, and Khadijah and Dawn were both there. They were both asleep. Everything was good. She wakes up, and the tiny humanoid is no longer in the bed with her, and there is a mild panic. And then she finds out that Mabel has absconded with her. And it's just like, okay, she's with Mabel. She's absolutely perfectly fine. It's fine. There's a moment of like, it's fine because she's with Mabel, so absolutely nothing is going to happen to her. It's okay. And then she reads the note and then like gets ready for the day and checks her instruments and does her morning routine of ensuring that the strings are all taut and everything is clear and clean, and then she exits her room with Khadijah on her shoulder.
Okay, and the rest of y'all can hear this as well. You can hear Garnet sort of tuning her strings a little bit, that sort of tightening and melodic sort of sound, and when you hear someone tuning as part of the morning routine that some of you have grown used to now. Go ahead, Avalon.
Yeah, I think, sorry, just in the topic of waking up and such. Willow, so she fell asleep in the tub, but I don't think she would have slept the rest of the night in the bath. I think after like an hour and a half in the water, she'd eventually have woken up and just sort of embarrassed, went back to her room and like slept the rest of the night. In the morning, I don't think she'd have sought out any of the others. Whenever y'all are like getting the group together, you'd probably find her in her room, just sitting like cross-legged on the ground with scraps and tools and various gadgets just sort of scattered around her as she's looking through things and sort of planning out the day. Yeah, I feel like I had something else I was going to say and I don't remember what it was now, but it's fine.
Well, let me know if you do think of it. Otherwise, yeah, everyone's kind of going about their routines. You hear like the sounds of sort of the steel and sort of the occasional whizzing of either their prosthetic or sort of her artifice, and Harmony kind of getting ready in a very military, orderly fashion, and then Amina tuning her strings, and then Key. Fiera is the only one that seems to has not left and is in fact snoring.
Lovely. He probably kind of like, she wakes up. Wow, just mentioned. When they wake, they pull back out the necklace that they have wrapped in a cloth and just spend quite some time just like thinking about everything there. And just doesn't seek out anybody, doesn't leave the room, doesn't even wake Fiera, just pulls out the tome and just starts reading. Like,
she's snoring. They're snoring pretty heavily.
Oh
once
my
they want me, they'll come get me.
Yeah. So as you're kind of looking at the amulet, again, it's described as the rhythmic snoring of the strong, deadly Thembo next to you is sort of a backdrop. And kind of there's this moment where you sort of look into the amulet, and that rhythmic snoring That was my stomach is growling again. Not as bad as it was last time. I avoided the jalapeno, so we're gonna fix that problem. But I did just like wolf down and a chicken breast. Sidebar over. Fiera, that sort of rhythmic snoring is sort of forms this strange backdrop for you as you gaze upon the amulet that was gifted to you by your father. And it's kind of one of those things that it's a cinematic trope. Garnet being in film, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. When it kind of, that snoring becomes rhythmic and kind of turns into like this dull, rhythmic thrumming sound as you sort of focus in on this, and reality around you seems to kind of distort a little bit as you focus your attention. It is sort of an open horn skull on the amulet now as you kind of really take a minute to examine it. The mouth of the skull has a black obsidian. It has incisors and canines that sort of grip from both the upper and lower jaw, that grip this sort of obsidian gem in the center that has this sort of swirling interior visage to it, like this misty swirling smoke, black smoke inside of the opal. And there are 5 emeralds, tiny emeralds. They're a little bit dull. And they also seem to have this sort of these dark emeralds seem to be almost sort of charred or seem to have been singed by flame, as they have like almost like if you have a piece of metal or jewel that's been something that's been singed, and there's like that, those black marks on it. And there's 5 of them, and they kind of shimmer. And you kind of start to hear, starting with one whisper that kind of turns into a tortured scream, and then 2 more, and then a dozen, and then several. But you can't take your eyes away from it. And you're gazing deeper into this gem, and you can start to see fire, shadow flame forming around the inside of the central opal. And as the amulet begins to shake, one of the gems cracks, and you hear a voice from behind you, familiar, that says, "Be very careful with that." And you are back in the room, as if nothing had happened.
I put it back in the bag. I make sure it's wrapped in the cloth, and I put it back in the bag.
Okay.
It's very fragile.
Y'all, we
It
need
is
to
not
stack
cracked,
up all these.
by the way.
We need to stack up all these cursed things and give them all to Darius and just watch him like writhe with a whole bunch of cursed items.
I'm almost
Coat
tempted
them
to
in the
let him have
poison.
it. Yeah.
Coat them in the poison so we can make Mabel happy.
Ooh, a new card. Okay.
We'll give
yes.
him the berries that Willow found, and
Yes.
the poison, and the mask,
The
and
poison for
the
Cusco.
amulet.
Cusco's poison.
Darius is a llama. That's some art we need.
Oh my god, can that be our plan? We don't
Yeah.
fight him, we just turn him into a llama.
Does that
Perfect
make
plan.
Alessia Yzma? I
Oh
think that
my
makes
god.
Alessia Yzma. And Harmony, I think that makes you Kronk.
I can stand the himbo vibes, let's go.
Well, this is interesting. So, tarot card from Anna. And let's go ahead and somebody, doesn't matter, any one person, whoever wants to roll a d12 for me.
I'll roll that.
You roll a d12. Let's see who we got here.
That was a 3.
The 3. Okay. All right. Who is gonna be? She's not here. She's not here. He's at the docks. Who?
Sus.
That would be. It would be the closest up or down that makes the most sense. And you're going to gain the benefit of an ally to tag along with the party for you to use however you see fit, based on which direction you choose. Now, when a courier arrived saying that the Lawmaster wanted to meet you sooner than later, it wasn't get here now, sooner than later. You still have a pending sort of quest in your quest log with the merfolk. I think you have tiered that down. There is checking in with the Lawmaster. There is the merfolk. There is... Oh, it's Allie! Hello, Allie. I also meant to give a shout out to Diesel Shot, our friends over at Diesel Shot. And shout out to... Did I say Allie? I meant Anna. Anna pulled a card. Usually Triumphant. Our friends over at Usually Triumphant. We have lots of friends. Check them out. Okay, so what are y'all thinking? Depending on what direction y'all end up going in is going to determine the use of the ally. So also thank you, Anna, for pulling that card, because that is going to definitely be a boon for them. They are one member down, so they're going to have the ability to have someone join the party and help them with whatever they may or may not need. So, what's the plan, y'all?
It depends
Willow
what
is still
everyone
just-
prefers.
Willow is still just in her room, fucking with her toys.
Okay, all right. The Kyrosian Kilneys have also maintained their position here. You get the feeling like the ambassador has sort of taken Mabel for protection, and the Kilneys are here standing guard at the embassy. So.
Is Harmony the only one out of the room?
With a military swiftness, Harmony is likely the first one out of the room. Very used to sort of an early morning trumpet or call, a flag ceremony, that sort of thing. So.
Okay, Harmony will like stand there for a little bit to just be like, okay, it's okay if they're fashionably late. That's fine. I can appreciate that. But once it crouches into the like 10-minute mark, she's gonna go around to everyone's room and just like very loudly and obnoxiously, following one of her previous sergeants who did the exact same thing to her, will begin like banging on the door, be like, wake up, please, we have things to do.
Yeah, you can hear like the from Willow's room, and then the from Amina's room, and then silence, a sort of contemplative silence.
Masterful violin impression. I thought you were playing one for real.
Well, it's the tuning, right? So it's not. Yeah, and then loud snoring from Key's room. But yes, I take pride in my violin impressions, my accurate violin tuning impressions. It's a rare talent of mine, you see.
So
It's
Harmony
delightful
will
that you
go
got to share it with us.
Harmony will go to Willow's door first, and we'll
Okay.
just... Willow, darling, you going
can
to come
come
out
in.
of your... Okay. She's going to gently open the door and just stand there looking at what you're doing. What you doing?
So she's sitting there with her like Under Armour flight suit, the one that she's sort of wearing in her art. It's sitting there half open as she's sort of going through her devices and stuff for the day. She looks up at you, like the hummingbird armor is like half built next to her, and she's sort of, it seems like she's looking through her like her weapons and her tools for the day. Fuck, I forgot her voice.
Hope I wasn't disturbing anything, darling.
No. What are we doing today? We have the thing with the merfolk, right?
Yes, and the Lawmaster wishes to speak with us as well. So it's entirely up to all of you what you would like to do. I have no preference.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what'll be most useful for the day. And she sort of like trails as she's looking at the things underwater. Well, she said we wouldn't be totally underwater all the time, right? Like there's gonna be
Yes.
All right. I think I'm just gonna sort of do a little bit of everything if I can. I'll be ready to go in 10 minutes. She sort of like looks around, trying to figure out exactly how long it's gonna take.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think 10 minutes to get everything put together and get my armor and everything.
Sounds good. By the way, are you okay after yesterday? You seemed a little distant. Just wanting to check in.
So full disclosure, real quick, out of character. My brain just like dissociated after break, and I don't know why. I was just like, mew.
Oh no.
So that was part of it.
Oh no.
It worked in character, so I'm not too mad. But yeah, that was part of it. I'm not sure if I'm okay, but it just doesn't add up, does it? They ask us to Okay, so like they ask us to investigate, right? And then they
Right.
swoop in before we can do that and shoo us away. That seems wrong, right? Like am I crazy?
I would say you're certainly not crazy. I did receive a message prior from Darius telling me to be prepared for something that's about to go down at the docks, so it does seem quite suspect. However, we have very little to go off of, and all evidence
tell
has
me
been
about it.
taken away by Mixed Night Blossom. Night Bloom. Night Blossom. Night Bloom?
Night Bloom. Night. Oh, jeez.
This is
Night
in
Blossom.
character.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Harmony would know. This is Renee losing brain cells. Is it Night Blossom or Night Bloom?
Night Blossom.
I'm like 80% sure it was Night Bloom, but I might be wrong.
Night Blossom sounds really pretty, though.
I mean, I could roll with both.
Same.
Miss DM, was it Night Blossom or Night Bloom for the
I'm gonna let y'all
Spy
know.
Master? You're muted.
You're muted.
I'm gonna let y'all know.
Okay. Oh yeah, on that topic,
Night
Alessia took
Blossom.
something from Night Blossom.
Night
I was
Blossom.
wrong.
Mm.
That's what I get for being confident.
Well, I was second guessing myself. Where I was like,
no worries. They do ostensibly mean the same thing. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was looking around the upper office and found like a hidden drawer and stuff. One of the things I found in there, Alessia took it. She wouldn't let me keep it, but it was a dagger that had like dragon stuff on it.
Like draconic or dragon iconography?
DM, can you possibly re-describe the dagger, the dragon dagger?
the dragon dagger. Okay, which one was that again? From the one that was in the room?
Yeah, I found it in the office upstairs in the hidden drawer.
Okay, so
Was there multiple dragon daggers we could have found?
No, it
I only
was
found the one.
and that was the one that Alessia took, right?
Yeah.
I believe that it was actually a raven's head at the pommel and outstretched
get that
feathers.
Okay.
Likely from Stormwatch.
Possibly. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Wires cross.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens to me all the time. I believe, based on my notes, that the dagger that was taken, again, second guessing myself here, but it should be a. We'll retcon it, make it official. A dagger that had sort of outstretched wings for the hilt that kind of angled down on either side. And it was sort of etched in sort of like steel and sort of black coat of paint, and the pommel was sort of a raven's head that sort of angled to one side, and it was very quickly confiscated by Alessia.
So yeah, Willow relays that description. I didn't even get a chance to identify it or anything. She just, yeah. I tried to sneak it into the bag, but she noticed pretty much immediately because she was staring right at me.
They are
It-
quite perceptive, so it'd be difficult.
I'm not used to being sneaky either, so that didn't help my case none.
You'll get better with time.
Maybe. I don't know that I want to be good at sneaking. It's not really, I'm not a very sneaky person. Like,
Real
just,
quick.
I'm not.
Sidebar, sorry.
go ahead.
How does anyone know how long the sea journey was, just so I can actually write it down in my notes officially?
I believe you told us.
Let
I
me
believe
check
you told
my
us it was
notes.
like 7 days, 6 or 7 days.
Yes, 6.5. Okay, great, got it. Thank you, Avalon. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Hell, lost train of thought. Right. I don't know. Just nothing makes sense, and we weren't allowed to do much investigating to make it make sense. And I mean, I got these ledgers, but they're totally on the up and up as far as I can tell. There aren't any like inconsistencies or anything. It's a bunch of dead ends that don't feel right. Those I keep calling them kids, but they're barely younger than me. Those two were paid a lot of money to do that. But who paid them? Who had the money? Why don't we know?
Exactly.
I don't understand. And I don't like not understanding. I don't like not knowing. It makes me uncomfortable.
The
But I
more we
suppose that's a
ruminate
problem
on
for
it,
later.
the more we ruminate, the less you'll understand. Any kind of understanding that we can get from this situation, unfortunately, lies with the Dragon Keepers, and I doubt I can say or do anything to allow us to look over the evidence, given that it's an open and shut case. She does her best to try and imitate Darius.
Willow smiles a little at that.
So, let us
Yeah.
recoup. We go out, we finish these other tasks. We wait until Mabel gets back, because Mabel is very passionate when it comes to things, and Darius. And we can then put our heads together, hopefully in a place with no prying eyes.
That'll be difficult. Did you see his familiar last night, by the way? It was like a dark corvid of some kind. It had 3 eyes. That was
No,
how
I
he
have
knew we
not.
were there, and like how he got to the thing so fast. 'cause
Beware the three-eyed
watching-
raven.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot that fucking thing next time I see it.
Yeah.
Is that why you're taking a sharpshooter?
You just mind your own character sheet. Don't let me worry about mine. No. Genuinely though, yeah, no, that's how he was keeping an eye on us. That's how he knew what was going on and got there so fast, because he was watching us with a magical familiar.
You've only had one night in Bastion's Hold so far, right? This was the first
That's
night?
correct.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So I believe...
It was a long day.
Yes.
Night 5 is when the animatronics come out.
Yes.
Bastion's Hold just like shuts down completely. We have to make it out somehow.
I would love, please, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay,
5
so
nights in Bastion's Hold.
this is fitting. So the date, I believe, is the 6th day of Eocosta, which is the 3rd month of the year. And it is now, fittingly enough, the eve of the holiday of Rebel's End, which is a Veltherian holiday specifically commemorating the victory of the Stormwatch and of the Sevakorar, then transitioned to the Vasquatoria over the forces of Barthen Odror and Odror's Irregulars during the Centuries War. So it's sort of like a military holiday, very important here, and it is the eve, kind of similar to like a Veterans Day type of celebration, where everybody here celebrates, and people will have festivities and food and ale and fireworks. Very standard type of military holiday type of thing. They might have a military parade as well. But that is tomorrow, and it's only celebrated in. It's not like a community festival, sort of like Oceantide is, but it is most definitely celebrated here with lots of drinking, lots of food, and a fireworks ceremony. And there's also a commemoration ceremony that is held here specifically at the height of the central stronghold of military power in the Vasquitoria in Bastion's Hold. Carry on. I found the official date. Just wanted to...
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
No, you're good. I love it. So we're here on a holiday. Let's get riggedy wrecked, son.
The recurring theme with the holidays.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I love holidays. Yeah, no. For now, we'll just deal with the stuff we got to deal with today. Do you know what the Lawmaster wants, by the way? I don't recall if he ever said what the meeting was going to be about.
I don't think he gave me any particular details. I think it... Oh, or did he?
Correct. When you had checked in with Gunter Ludwig, your old mentor, old friend, he had said that the Lawmaster has a job. There's a couple things. I have a handy dandy quest list here. So, okay, Bastion's Hold. You had the issue of propaganda, which you have resolved. You know that there are two high-ranking Duskwatch officers here, who have recently come to the city. It was simply something of note that was stated by your friend Gunter Ludwig, and that they were looking to connect with the new Dragon Keeper regulars, the yet-to-be-named Dragon Keeper regulars at some point. At your convenience, okay? So, you know that there is a Lieutenant Benethria who is in command here, and the military is not too fond of them, so it makes sense that Gunter Ludwig was like, fucking Duskwatch was asking to meet with you, but don't worry about it, type of situation. They also don't push, and it wasn't dire, right? So it was definitely something that you can take your time with. They want to just meet with you at your convenience. There is also the very eager merfolk who are seeking the formal assistance of the Vasquitoria with clearing out some of the natural caves along the coast that seem to have been recently claimed by Sahuagin. Sahuagin attacks are somewhat common along the coast. They have raiding parties that can pillage and pilfer some merchant ships, or some fishing vessels, or some small settlements or fishing endeavors along the coast. But they've never been a problem. However, the Sahuagin incursions have been particularly aggressive as of late. The merfolk have also been driven from the shallows and the deeper parts of the ocean, just off the coast and some of the natural shelves where they have their settlements. They have made forays of diplomacy with the crown before, but nothing ever as formal as this. They seem to have been driven, both the Sahuagin and the merfolk seem to have been driven out of their homes by something dangerous in the ocean, something that has sort of pursued them here. Your merfolk representative started to talk about it, but you were more focused on the propaganda at some point. You said you would be back with them momentarily. There is also has been a rash of disappearances. A string of missing persons that Gunter Ludwig was very concerned about, which is on the job board. Any information on missing persons. Related to the missing persons, however, Gunter Ludwig was very kind of hint, the Lawmaster has a problem related to this that he wants to talk to you about. And also there seems to be 2 new cults operating in the city. One that is sort of amorphous and they're still gathering information on. A second which has been active for several years now, but has evolved and is now known as the Cult of the Black Sun. Seemingly having a massive uptick in followers after the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse that happened last year, about a year ago, right around this same time. You all remember the event. It was a solar eclipse that had lasted about 45 minutes. It was a sort of prolonged solar eclipse, which was unexpected by a lot of astronomers. Had expressed their confusion and surprise at this, what they call a natural phenomenon, but just one that took them by surprise. That being said, that is your quest log.
Oh boy. We have a lot to do. Will you be okay putting together whatever you need whilst I go get the others?
Yeah, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah, Anna knows exactly
trying
what
to-
that solar eclipse is.
just trying to plan out what things to pack, as it were. Can't use everything at once. Okay. While we're out and about, I need to find someone who sells a crossbow, I think. The lightning blasters are probably not a good idea if we find ourselves underwater, so I need a backup plan.
The good news is that
definitely
there is
good.
an armory here in which you can very easily requisition a crossbow.
Oh yeah,
For
this is one of the
free.
most militarized. Yeah, no, for sure. Which is something that we need to do along the route. Yeah. Other than that, I'm good. It'll take her like 10-15 minutes to get everything going, get her
course.
armor on and such.
Also, you do have the wanted poster for the Sahuagin incursions, which is kind of two quests. It's Sahuagin incursions and sort of a merfolk diplomacy, which says vicious Sahuagin attacks have been an increasing concern as of late for the citizens of Bastion's Hold. The Lawmaster of the sacred fortress city of Aefyntir,
Wait, so the Sahuagin from the wanted poster are not the Sahuagin that are also harrying the merfolk?
no, it's the same thing.
I thought those were the same.
are.
It's the same thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
It's
sorry.
it's
I was confused.
just
We're good.
yeah. So you also just have a copy of the poster. So there's just an additional layer of the merfolk that have this sort of diplomatic, or trying to establish diplomatic relations with the crown.
Mhm.
As the Lawmaster of the sacred fortress city of Bastion's Hold and Isindra's shield hath decreed a reward of 10 gold pieces per pair of Sahuagin ears. Any physical evidence of the verified dismantling of Sahuagin effigies will result in an additional 15 gold pieces at the discretion of the Lawmaster. Exercise caution when dealing with these savages. They are known to be exceptionally dangerous, especially in large numbers. For Queen and Realm, might and majesty, warriors of the crown. And yes, it is very xenophobic, and by design, the crown is very kind of a little bit backwards in a lot of respects. So
Oh, for sure.
yes, that is the poster.
Okay. Well, Harmony will give Willow, if Harmony has your consent to touch, because Willow doesn't. I mean, Harmony doesn't know how Willow is with physical touch, but she'll just give you a little head pat, like that, and then she's gonna
There.
leave.
Did you motion a head pat while using a PNG tuber, so we can't see you do that?
Yeah, I did. Listen, limitations, okay? I'm too powerful. But yeah, she's gonna go and get
I
the
think
other.
I think Willow would kind of freeze for a second. She wouldn't like be mad or anything like that, and she'd probably smile a little, but I don't think she'd necessarily know what to say.
Oh, of course.
So she's receptive but unsure.
Mm. That makes total sense. Yeah, Harmony's gonna go and knock on Key's door. Knock, knock, knock. Wake up! Stop snoring.
Fiera kind of, sorry, I'm awake. Oh,
Are you sure? Because I could hear the snoring from through this door, and the wood is quite thick.
I snore.
Hmm.
Looks over at Key.
I found it rather charming.
Oh, Thanks. That's a first.
To each their own.
Glad someone gets something out of it. Probably need some more pillows or something.
Yeah.
Well, if you two lovebirds want to come out of your room anytime soon, that would be great. We have a lot of things on our docket.
He is definitely sitting cross-legged on the floor, like, too. Just like,
Sierra kind of adjusts themselves on, and just lots of cracks as they kind of just, like one of those people who has kind of a lot of, just naturally gets the cracks out when they move. Kind of, yeah, and they just, how about you? Did you sleep okay? You look very focused over there.
yeah. I woke up and wanted to see something. I slept. It was decent. It was more decent sleep.
That's a start.
Definitely a start.
Are you sure you're okay? It seems like something's on your mind, like you're distracted or somewhere else. I don't want to push, but you can talk to me if you want to. Otherwise, I'll just get ready for the day.
You ever just have your parents' words echoing in your ears?
All the fucking time. But my parents kind of sucked, so I just ignore it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's nothing.
Okay. I won't pry. And they just kind of like do a little prestidigitation, and you can smell like cucumber melon type of scent as they just kind of like feel like I should probably get back to the crew and just kind of put the leather jacket back on and kind of start putting their leathers together.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry I dragged you to last night.
No, that's... We're gonna have arrangements to be made, and we'll probably be indisposed with that for some time. They were distant on the periphery, never really close to many of us, sort of friends of Tommen's and from way back. I'm gonna have to check in at the hospital, and then I guess the rest of us will try and scrape together whatever we can to have some kind of a ceremony or funeral. It'll have to be after the holiday because we're not going to be able to do anything in these streets. But I think I handle things by kind of keeping busy, and again, it would, even though he wasn't someone that was particularly close. It's still a lot. It's still a lot to deal with. One of us is going to have to tell his family. Probably me. So, just going to clear my head and have a smoke and maybe the hair of the dog, gin and an egg or something. I don't know, and just take my mind off of things. And check in with the rest of the crew. Check in with the coroner. And we'll make arrangements to visit the hospital. Luckily, there's only one ceremony to be had, not two. Suppose that we all have all of y'all to thank for that, way or another. I also know when to not ask questions, or when to not ask too many questions. Just, and they kind of look around over their shoulder and lean in. Just be careful, E. I don't trust the government. I trust military. I don't trust the police. Anybody in this fucking city other than the people that I know. Just be careful. Watch your back.
I only trust a handful of people. Everyone else, I don't.
Trust yourself, love. If you're gonna trust anybody, trust what's in here. Right?
Sounds like you are to be very busy.
Fortunately. But when it's all over, after the holiday, the military holiday, if you can even call it that, whatever business you have, we'll find time to have a nice dinner. I don't really have a
That sounds
ton of money, so not like, steak and, super fancy wine or anything and a 5-course meal, but somewhere in the middle.
anything sounds lovely.
Something fried.
Something fried sounds very good.
Maybe fried cod. Fried fish here is pretty damn good. Yeah, fried fish and ale.
All right.
It's a date. And they kind of lean in and just give you a kiss on the cheek, and then put a hand on each of your shoulders. I'll see you around, Key.
I'll see you.
They kind of start getting their stuff ready to leave. And they kind of
And
head to the
Key
door.
gathers their stuff as well.
They just, you okay if I open the door?
Absolutely.
And they just open and start heading out.
Good morning, Harmony.
Good morning to you too.
Yes.
Need any assistance, or am I
I'm all
okay
set.
to go get Amina?
Amina, please.
All right then.
You can hear like the last bit of tuning, the last string from the last room there. Amina, did you get a chance to pick up the note and read the note after you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, Amina is just wrapping up with the tuning.
Amina, hello. Are you?
Harmony. Just the person I wanted to see.
Oh, okay. Well, what is it you wanted to
Do
see
you
me for?
have... So she's gonna kind of gesture you to come into her room and then close the door.
Okay.
We haven't really had an opportunity to chat. I'm obviously not from here. I don't think I like it here. It's
Understandable.
gray and it's crowded and it's uncomfortable. All of that being said, I don't like your boss. And if you and I are going to continue to work together, I need to know where you stand.
Where I stand. Where my loyalties lie. Is that what you wish to know, Amina?
I just want to make sure that I'm not going to have to worry about if Darius decides that he's done with us, that you aren't going to, I don't know, slit my throat in my sleep.
Oh, heavens, no. Far too personal to do. That was a joke. Please ease up, okay? I have my own set of goals. Everything is a means to an end. Now, I don't know if that gives you comfort in my words, or whether you feel that I would betray you sometime in the future. However, Amina, I don't really know you either. So
This is
telling
true.
you where my loyalties lie, we might have to get to know each other a little better. Don't you think?
Of course. That would, of course, mean that you would have to open up to the rest of us. I attempt to be an open book. Ask me anything and I'll tell you as truthfully as possible.
Sorry, you're the avatar. Rory's avatar is like the surprise look.
I don't think you understand. My jaw's legitimately dropped.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. I am not the most open. Surely you can see why, who I work for.
Yes, I'm quite sure that if you told him that your favorite food was bread, he would try to poison you with, rye.
Oh, that's so crass. Surely he'd do it some other way.
Quite possibly.
I will try and be more forthright and open. And in turn, I will also be more open-minded. I can guarantee you, however, that I have no intention of killing anyone within our little party. Does that ease you, at least, for now?
For the moment, I came here to go to school. Now I'm an accessory to mass genocide of rebels that I didn't even know existed.
Yes. You'd get dragged into a spot of bother, didn't you?
Tried to save someone. Quite literally died in my arms, and then I couldn't even do anything to provide some form of justice because his murderer escaped. How do you live with that?
You pick yourself up and you keep moving forward. In my time in the military, in battles, in fights, you see that a lot. Someone you know, someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's cousin, someone's friend, someone's fiancé will get struck down in front of you. It is not like the theatre productions or the songs. The world does not slow down. It keeps moving. So you need to move faster, quicker. You need to be smart. So as painful as the death of this individual is, you have to keep moving forward. And if you stop, well, that pain might catch up with you. That's
So
how
it's
I
just
deal
a
with it.
constant state of running.
Squeaky leather chair.
A constant state of survival.
I am sorry you have to live that way. My goal is to change that. My goal is to make sure that no one has to live that way. Or at least fewer people have to live that way.
If you can change how the world is and make it into a world that many people have dreamed about, I'll be impressed. Many have tried and many have failed. Trust me. When I was a child, this is the last thing I wanted to do with my life, but here I am. I'm making do.
That if we stop trying, doesn't the darkness win?
I feel it's far too complex to call it darkness or light. People do what they must, feel what they must. Everyone's reacting, unless doing it because of some preconception of good and bad. This place is dismal. You're absolutely correct. Miserable. You can see it on everyone's faces. For might and majesty. What a load of shit.
At that statement, Amina visibly relaxes.
Some people have to bend, bow, grovel before they can stand taller than even the gods. Patience. And that's what we all need right now. Patience. I look forward to getting to know you and becoming closer with you, Amina. You
As
remind
do
me of
I.
someone. Now,
I do
come
hope
on.
that we can be friends. But I think now is time for breakfast.
Yes, eating because I'm starved. Honestly.
That cinnamon wine you all were drinking smelled divine. I hope you didn't fall too far into your cups.
I feel like did Willow partake?
I believe so, but I was out in the gardens for a while.
I think Willow may have partaken a little too deeply.
It was a rough night for the both of us.
It makes sense. Come, let's get you fed, yes?
Damn, both of you give yourself DM inspiration. Wow. If you already have
so
it,
good.
if you already have it, you can either give it to somebody that doesn't have it, or if everybody has DM inspiration now, you can take a luck point. Wow, that was incredible. And like with the music and everything too, just chef's kiss, double chef's kiss. By the way, Mabel baked everyone cinnamon rolls.
Oh,
And
so
also,
hungry.
she also fresh squeezed orange juice and made French press coffee.
Where? How
Perfect.
does she do these things?
DM, it's
By
3:40 in the morning. This is not fair.
She said she does. She said that she's very specific that she wanted that to be her special talent. That is just baked goods. She wakes up early at like 3:45 to do baked goods and then goes about her day. Very early riser. 7 o'clock at night, she watches Matlock and passes out, right?
by the time y'all finish your conversation and come out, Willow has already consumed half of the French press coffee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets in there for some coffee.
It's all pretty outstanding. And it's like it was sort of isolated to the kitchen, but when you walk in, you can smell that and that it was made with love by Mabel. So fresh baked cinnamon rolls and orange juice and coffee.
Harmony's definitely partaking in that coffee. Definitely the cinnamon rolls. Oh my god, cinnamon rolls.
And the armory, by the way, which is open to you.
Mhm.
The Kilneys have given you access to it.
Ooh,
You
we can
said
go
fresh
faster.
squeezed orange juice, and,
Mhm.
and Amina was just like, yes, and just sort of
Yeah.
pulled. When she realized everyone else was drinking coffee, she just sort of pulled the carafe towards herself. It's like, I'm just gonna drink this.
She pulls out a crazy straw shaped like a butterfly and just plops it right in the carafe. And
I
starts going.
love that.
Yes.
It's like that wine glass that you attach to a bottle. So it's like I'll just have one glass of wine.
Yeah. Well, you do have artifice. You can make a silly straw, and with prestidigitation, all kinds of other stuff. You can absolutely do something like that.
We all need crazy straws now, please.
Root
I'll
crazy
put it on the
straws.
list. I think when y'all do come down, Willow's sitting at the table. She's got like copious amounts of coffee on one side, and in the center of the table there's a crossbow that she has like pulled apart and is sort of piecing back together with her own stuff. I am removing the enhanced defense infusion from the shield and turning it into an enhanced weapon infusion. I know how words work. Shut up.
Perfect.
To make the crossbow a +1.
All right. Sounds good to me.
How many bolts can I take with for that?
40.
40. Okay, yeah. She'll take a full rack of 40. Yeah.
I feel like Key definitely came down like second, so like the other two were having their conversation, and Key probably joined you at that point. Joined Willow at that point.
Kira
Good morning.
would have grabbed a cinnamon roll on their way out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Good morning.
Did Key and Fiera come down together?
You know what?
No,
Come out together? 'Cause
Fiera kind of
it's
just
all
like
one level.
yeah, Fiera just kind of went in and grabbed a cinnamon roll, then very quickly had made their leave. They were kind of uncomfortable about the whole situation and had like sort of said their goodbyes to Key. So very quickly came in, grabbed a cinnamon roll, and was like, "See you later," and just kind of took
And
off.
then like 2-3 minutes later, Key comes up.
Morning. Willow like doesn't even really look up. Like she glances up for a second to notice that it's you, and just like goes back to fiddling, taking a drink of coffee every so often. How was your evening?
It was an evening. Yep. And Key just takes a swig of coffee.
Me
What
every
did you
morning.
Right. I'm actually a morning person in real life, so like I like mornings. What did you what'd you get up to after we left the club last night? I'm just curious. It's not anything. I'm just curious how your night went. I don't know. Make it talk.
My night went well. You know, some things left between not talking about it. But it's morning now, and coffee. It's just another swig.
I understand that.
How was your night?
One of the Kyrosian Kilneys kind of walks around the corner with a stack of envelopes and says, again, making you feel more at home, Amina. And they just, the presence of the armed guards here makes it seem like a safe haven, an escape. One of the half-orc Kyrosian Kilneys comes around the corner and is kind of sorting through the mail, large, about 6'5", sort of pale green skin, very handsome, little scar across the cheek. Just, all right, mail call for, actually some mail here for you, Amina. It's posted locally from, there you are. Looks like it was,
all right.
might have been hand delivered.
Okay, thank you.
And the rest is just correspondence for the ambassador. And general, looks like general comings and goings on the to-do list. So that's all. Carry on. Enjoy the coffee.
If you get a moment, if there's been a response to my message, the sending spell, that would be lovely. I know it's hard to reach my mother's.
Right. Righto. We'll keep an eye and ear out for any correspondence from the four houses. Sure, it'd be something. Usually they send something like a plant or like a potted plant or something. There must be something that would be delivered.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I know, you did sending, or did you do an actual letter that you sent out? I can't remember.
Both.
Both. Okay.
I did a sending spell because I thought that would be faster, but then I also wrote a whole letter explaining what I, because, you only get 25 words, so I needed longer to explain what happened and what I did, so I did send a letter as well.
And that was to,
the letter went directly to my, because I wrote the same letter twice, so I wrote one to my mom and then one to my sister.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, it's likely that, as the Kilney said, it's likely that there will be some form of formal response, probably a week or so by mail, and likely at their convenience they will respond to you through sending. But for something that is considered as big of a deal as bringing someone into the family, with Dawn, it would require a more formal response. But no response means that they're considering it and that they are thinking long and hard about what you said about the new addition to the family. So it's likely probably that they will answer you within 24 to 48 hours. Everything is very slow and sort of at their own time in the four houses, especially in the summer house. It's very kind of laissez-faire.
Yeah, my mom works in the spring house where everything is sort of like,
Oh yeah.
make it pink, make it blue sort of thing, where it's just bouncing all around.
Is your sister also in the spring house?
My sister's a teacher.
Okay.
So she is a teacher in our village.
And did you send the sending spell to your mother, or to the spell specifically to your mother or your sister?
Well, the spell was to an emissary to get the message to my mom.
That's right. Okay.
That's why, because I was like, oh yeah, we could just do that. And then because I was not thinking about it, I should have just been like, just send it directly to my mom in the spring house, not the summer house. But
I think it might have been genuinely because I think maybe we were still, or that you were still working on the details of the members of your household, so which would make sense. It might have.
There's a big family, so there's a lot of them just to kind of keep straight.
Yeah. Well, so also names and specifics, if you have any, whenever they're ready, send them my way. And but otherwise, we'll just refer to your mother and your sister for now. With that sort of protocol specifically, which was sort of a more formal protocol, so it does make sense to check in with an emissary, have them deliver the message to your mother, who is likely holds position in court, in the actual court of one of the four houses. And then your sister, who is a teacher, would probably go to your mother. So still waiting, but nothing as of yet. But you do have a locally posted letter that seems to have been likely hand delivered.
Alrighty. Well, just gonna go ahead and open that up, since who do I know here, right? Very curious.
Right. You open up the letter and you start to read, and your heart kind of sinks a little bit. It's so on brand, and you have this sense of this flood of emotions as you know exactly what this letter is. It is a glowing recommendation that Amina Nzinga of the Kyrosian Empire, of the four houses of Eladris, was integral and assisting the Vaskratoria with the elimination of seditious conspiratorial threats in the city of Bastion's Hold, and is an integral member of society here in Vailtheria, and therefore has my personal recommendation to admittance into the Lux Academy. Signed, High Ardragon Darius Essex.
That feels real hollow.
Oh no.
It's very on brand for him, and it's
urge to just burn this is so strong.
Yeah.
Congratulations getting into college.
Oh no, I lost it, Amina says as she lights it on fire at the breakfast table.
Oh no, I slipped.
There's some other sort of like flowery language, but that's the gist of it. Like sort of academic professional language,
Mm-hmm.
to the headmistress of the to whom it make it lots of, but that's the meat of the letter, beyond the formalities.
There is a lot happening, and you can all see it on her face. She's not hiding anything, and it's just, this is blood money, and she hates it.
Are you okay, darling?
No. I feel dirty. And then she's just gonna hand the letter to Harmony.
Harmony will read it. See Darius's name.
The best villains are just ambitious people.
Mm-hmm.
They make the best villains.
I'm assuming you don't want this, or you do want this?
I didn't want it like this. Not like that.
Right. She hands it. She kind of like hands it back to you, but like places it in front of you rather than waiting for you to take it. It is your choice. You don't have to take that glowing recommendation from him, though it is quite good. What do you care about more, your aspirations or your morality?
Amina is going to stand, take the letter, and find one of the emissaries who's still there, and just hand it to them and say, I don't want this, but I need you to hold on to it for me.
Right, I can put it in the safe deposit box if you want.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And just kind of takes it. Pleasure. And folds it up and keep it safe for you.
I appreciate that. And then she's begrudgingly going to go back to where everyone else is so they can figure out what they're going to do for the
Aw.
day. Because really, she just wants to go back into her room and scream.
Oh, that's such a mood.
So he takes it and heads to the vault and just puts it in the safe deposit box.
She doesn't know what she's going to do with it. But she knows she's not going to use it, but she knows that also it could be useful for other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say either way, that's a cool long game. Like it would have been cool to burn it. It's cooler to play the long game. I like that. Because it is blood money. You are 100% correct. Darius is absolutely a shit.
He's such a sussy
Such a
baka.
shit.
Yeah.
But I love that he's a sussy
Yeah.
baka.
Gonna come back
I think
and
after
sit
after a
down.
few minutes. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna come back and sit down, and I'll find another way.
As you do sit down, Willow finishes up her augmentations to the crossbow. Now the spot where the arrow sits, like on the crossbar, there's a little there are two little prongs that pop up either side of where the arrow sits, and you see a small arc of electricity passing between them. And then she also added an additional handle to the bottom of it for stability's sake. All right. I think I'm good to go. This thing right here, and she sort of points to the arc. It sort of charges the arrowheads and makes them like vibrate as they pass. it'll help stabilize their flight, make them hit a little bit better, especially underwater. Just because it'll. Words are hard this morning. Are words hard for anyone else today? It's I don't understand. It's
We're all pretty tired. It's perfectly fine.
So
point
long.
is I'm good to go.
Underwater? I thought there were caves. I thought there were caves. I didn't think we'd be going directly underwater.
I'm just trying to be prepared. I don't want to get stuck doing nothing down there.
So I'm
mean,
assuming
these
we're gonna go after the Sanguine, right? If you're preparing for that.
That was the idea. I mean, we got to talk to the Lawmaster, and then after that, isn't that the next thing on the to-do list?
Yes, well, we can pick which one we wish to do first. None of them are particularly urgent. It's more about personal preference at this point.
Someone from the guard did knock on the door and say the Lawmaster wishes to see you sooner than later, were the words, and that vacation is over, is what they said, or holiday is over.
If I'm gonna go, boss, he's gonna wait. Joking.
Yes.
Please don't fire me.
He's on Harmony time, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harmony time is party time.
Also, Harmony, you do know that there are underwater networks, natural pools in the cavern systems that sort of go into caverns below the cliffs, below the coastline, but it's mostly shoreline that leads into caves, and sometimes when the tide comes and goes, it can be partially submerged, but completely underwater is not something that you would expect right away. It might be something that it might evolve into, but yes, it's mostly sort of coastal caves, rising and lowering of tides, that sort of thing.
Harmony will relay that to the group.
It's also a few miles
I
down the
fully
coast.
understand. I fully understand and remember that we will probably be in caverns. Willow is trying to plan ahead for potential eventualities.
Right.
The cool thing about this is that this crossbow works perfectly well in open air too. She's just trying to not, electrocute us if we do end up underwater.
That would be
yeah.
bad, huh?
I feel like it would be. I feel like it would be very bad, yeah.
Okay, so you have your crossbow. Should we go and see what the Lawmaster needs and then pin that before going to sort out the Sanguine?
Yes.
He does
I'm-
seem a bit needy, so we probably should.
He does, doesn't he?
Okay, so if you look down here, right, there's Bastion's hold. You would be there is sort of these 40 miles here. That's a whole network of coastline that has sort of scattered elements of seaside caves here. But further down the coast, another 80 miles or so, is the Mistridge Strand, and that is where the bulk of the Sahuagin caves are reported to have been located. So might be a sort of chartering a ship, of which you have the retainer of Captain Eric, which you can absolutely charter a ship over to the Mistridge Strand, which would take only the better part of a day by ship. So that is something that you could consider. Or you could investigate the seaside caverns closest to Bastion's Hold, only about 20 miles in a small cove here, which is where the merfolk would likely be setting up, but there are larger cave systems down the Mistridge Strand as well. There is a more local problem and then a larger problem. Come back to Bastion's Hold and carry on. I think it might have helped to put some of that in perspective. Either way, to get to the sort of natural caverns by the beach, you're looking at about a 15 miles.
It's a
Bit of a trek.
bit of a hike. Yeah.
Bit of a hike.
There's plenty of coastline along here, but because this is such a militarized city that is well patrolled, the Sahuagin very rarely make incursions this close. The fact that they're within 10 to 15 miles, is kind of a big deal. They usually stuck to the Mistridge Strand, but there seem to be more of them as of late, exponentially more Sahuagin, which is a cause for concern for the crown, enough for them to put out a reward for Sahuagin ears, a bounty. It's
Above
ears?
game. Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna
Ears, yeah.
collect some Sahuagin ears? Because that's additional coin.
that's the
One of the market.
yeah.
What would Willow know about Sahuagin?
Make a nature check. I think nature sounds right. Sort of like the natural world. So make a nature check.
It's a
got
natural
ins-
one. She doesn't know shit.
Oh yeah,
You put
yeah.
inspiration.
By the way, 10 gold pieces per pair of Sahuagin ears, and any physical evidence of their verified dismantling of Sahuagin effigies will result in an additional 15 gold pieces at the discretion of the Lawmaster.
10 gold pieces each, you said?
Yes, 10 gold pieces each for a pair of ears. These are not good people, the Vascatoria.
No.
Yeah, no, we're aware.
But profit, though.
I didn't even realize this was an assassination mission. I thought we were going to go talk to them to try to work something out between them and the merfolk.
Well, you can. You absolutely can. This is just the government who is like not a good government that is being like, that is defaulting to like a very traditional thing that we might see in like an old video game. But obviously the idea is that y'all are like, this is kind of not okay. Let's see if we can do something else, right? This is just what the flyer says. So the flyer and again, sort of Amina saying that, you're like, what the fuck, type of, which is a reasonable reaction for anyone to have, but that's sort of like the default, right? The default is the bounty, to collect the bounty. But the merfolk were suggesting, the merfolk on their own simply had said, if you can oust the Sahuagin, we can bring our own forces in and help fortify and keep them at bay in the Mistridge Strand. But they've also occupied the smaller, more well-traveled coastlines, beaches, and cavern systems closer to Bastion's hold prior to the Mistridge Strand, where the merfolk have been congregating. The merfolk are going to need your help to oust the Sahuagin in whatever way you see fit. And the merfolk representative, let me kind of bring her up. Wayfinder Cyrisia. Wayfinder Cyrisia was very clear, like, hey, whatever you need to do, like, I know the crown is kind of aggressive, and but whatever you want to do to get rid of them, we're fleeing for our lives. There is something out there in the deeps that is coming for all of us, and we need to prepare. But we would like to make a formal alliance with the crown if you give us these caves. So there's kind of like whose territory is whose and who has the right to what territory. Definitely some BioWare kind of decisions formulating here with all of this stuff. But the assumption for any decision as a blanket statement is that you can handle and address any situation however you see fit. The crown as an entity is kind of evil, right? It's definitely like an evil, jaded, militaristic, xenophobic realm that you're kind of working within. And the Dragon Keepers, the Queen, it's definitely a lot very aggressive and very not okay. So you can address any situation however you see fit and go about it on your own.
Evil? No way. Nah.
Yeah.
They just haven't had their Snickers bar yet.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So
Well, I guess
Sorry,
the
Fawn.
simplest thing to do would be go find out what the Lawmaster wants and then go deal with these Sahuagin with minimal bloodshed.
You will have you can always negotiate sort of if you have proof that you have gotten them to flee, but either way, completing this will at the very least give you the allegiance and the friendship, likely, of the merfolk or the Sahuagin. Who knows? You could pull a 1, you could pull a 180.
Nice.
I would like to agree with that.
No decisions
less
off the table.
bloodshed, please.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill more stuff if we can help it.
If that's what you wish, I'll defer to your actions then. Shall we get going?
Yeah.
If everyone's finished with breakfast, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
no, I'm good to go. Side note, magic item I desperately need. There's a bottle of infinite coffee or whatever it's called. It's
Yes.
it's in the magic school book.
I thought you were gonna say Magic
It's-
School
it's an
Bus for a
actual,
second.
Yeah, that's where I left my infinite thermos.
Yes.
That sounds like the place to leave it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is an actual magic item that's a thing of endless coffee, and I want it.
You're in the Sahuagin caves, and the school bus just comes careening through a portal on the side of the cave. No, but if you're looking for magic items, you could visit Fraudulenti's Fineries.
We have to. We have to eventually, you guys. We can't just like ignore him.
And he might try to sell
we
you a
should
copy of
wait
his
until
book,
we-
though.
I want Mabel to be here for that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
To be
true, that's
honest.
true. Mm. Amazing.
Also, I found the item in question.
Is it the
Ooh.
decanter of endless coffee? Is that what it's called?
Bottle of boundless coffee. It is a common,
Close.
wondrous item.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. The coffee inside is always comfortably warm. And none of the heat can be felt through the bottle. Each time you drink the coffee, roll a d20, and on a 1, the bottle refuses to dispense coffee for the next hour. If you pour coffee from the bottle rather than drinking from it, the coffee vanishes the moment it leaves the bottle.
Huh.
It's just a little thermos of endless coffee, and I want it. I want it real bad.
For all the characters that are not morning people.
I seriously considered burning an infusion for that. Like, one of the replicate magic item once. I didn't do it, but I wanted to so bad.
Really good
So
roleplay
good.
flavor, for sure.
Alright, should we get heading to the Lawmaster?
Away we go.
Away.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's go to the lobby. The early morning light of Bastion's Hold, right around 8:30 in the morning, 8:30, 9 a.m. by the time you hit the streets. It is very busy. The streets are alive with the comings and goings of the citizenry of Bastion's Hold. There is a cacophony of shouts and of orderly marching footsteps as the city comes alive. The occasional carriage drawn by horse that gallops past, and the dull thrum of mass crowds of people, shouts from the market to the south, the ringing of bells from the docks ward, the cawing of seagulls and the air above you, the singing of bards and the shouts of criers announcing the news, the shouts of shopkeepers and shoe shines, merchants peddling fresh fruit, other vegetables, and fresh fish, being so close to the sea. There are the tilling of gardens, of mid to late spring gardens. There is the clamor of thousands of footsteps, and just the dull roar of life in a city. The occasional clanging of steel from a Syndra's shield, the central pinnacle of the city, where hundreds, thousands of soldiers train daily, launching volleys of arrows into targets at the archery range or engaging in military drills, a sound very familiar to Harmony. The sound of flowing fountains and of the lapping of the waves of the ocean, of the Velas Ocean in Bastion's harbor, Bastion Bay, against the shores of Bastion's Hold. The sawing of wood, the hammering of nails, and the general chaos of life in Bastion's Hold sets in as you exit into the street.
As we go to the Lawmaster's place, is it possible for us to swing past the warehouse where everything went down? I just want to see, like, if they're cleaning it up, or, you know, if there's still, like, some, you know, is there, like, the big yellow police tape and they're investigating what's going on there? I'm curious.
It would be a lot of it out of the way. I think you discussed that with the group. That's the opposite direction where you need to go. Up to you.
Okay, then never mind. Never mind.
But you can certainly discuss as a group.
I wasn't wanting it to be, like, a part of the day. It was just like, if we need to go that direction, let's take a gander.
Right. You could always check in when we come back. Our way back to when we go towards the caves.
There's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Who would like to roll a D100? On your way to the Lawmaster's Hall. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have everyone roll a D100. Everyone roll a D100, we'll see what we get.
Oh boy.
Y'all are level 3, right?
Yeah.
No, we're level 7.
Oh, okay. Totally slipped my mind. Yeah, we'll have everyone go ahead and roll a D100. See kind of what pops up here. Or actually, a D20 first, sorry. D20.
18.
Okay, and roll a D10 and a 2D10.
Do you want the numbers separate?
Yeah, or it doesn't matter.
4 and 10.
Okay. I think I know how to make that work. Alright, so you start walking through the city of Bastion's Hold. Now for a little chaos. Yes. Ooh, tarot card. Okay.
Chaos.
As you're kind of making your way through the streets of Bastion's Hold, you get... let's see. It's about 15-20 minutes to get to the Queen's Gate. So you're kind of making your way through the crowd. This is sort of like, you go from the more wealthy, affluent area into the more sort of middling area. What's everyone's passive perceptions?
13.
Okay.
10.
11.
14.
14. Okay.
We're doing great without the cleric.
Nice.
Okay, good to know. You make your way to the Queen's Gate. It takes you about 20 minutes to get there. Rudolph, just want to let you know that something rolled a 17, and the card that you pulled was the 3 of Adversaries. Tiny. So yeah. That's going to trigger me to go look at these notes. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. Interesting. Now, right now, I want to say to both Rudolph and to the audience and to all of y'all, you don't really have many enemies. So, other than Darius, which has kind of been exhausting, right? And we all know that that is sort of a recurring adversary. So there's a couple of other things going on that could potentially be very interesting. So that suite of adversaries, or that suit of adversaries, words are hard, is going to trigger an interaction. But for now, whatever is happening, they roll the 17, and no one's the wiser for now. So we're going to continue on to the next interaction based on the previous rolls, and this is kind of a big deal. This is sort of a random encounter, right, from just roll tables of things you might encounter in the city. So as you get to the Queen's Gate, it becomes particularly thick, and there is sort of like a wall of soldiers on either side, so sort of straight down the middle here. And go ahead and move your tokens. I'll just kind of get y'all a little bit into the street here, right? So right around this area, there is sort of like a long line of guards that is sort of stretching from the gate. And it becomes particularly difficult to push through. Set that up during break. But as you're kind of making your way through, you get to the point where, right by the Queen's Gate, about 25 minutes in, you can't move through, and you kind of approach the line there, and there are soldiers standing, and there seems to be a wide swath, so that's sort of a path that has been made, and you can see that there seems to be a significant military presence on the walls and also in the gate. So you kind of approach this impasse where the soldiers seem to have blocked off your entryway. What do you do? Or blocked off your passage.
How many will approach one of them and will just be like, what's going on here?
One of the guards kind of turns over the shoulder, and do you have your badge pinned to your clasp anywhere? This is okay. This is very interesting, Harmony. Very interesting for you. So, Amina, Willow, and Key, you make your way over, and you're used to Harmony is very kind of is your authority, kind of your key to the city. And this soldier kind of turns around and just, sorry, mum. Orders. VIP. You're not an R-Dragon, an actual VIP. No offense.
And you cannot tell me who this VIP is?
See for yourself. They're making their way here momentarily. And you hear kind of, almost on cue, you kind of have a few moments where you stop and look at each other, and it's very strange that usually the R-Dragons have complete authority, right? The Eocosta has complete authority over the city, and Elvish Presley, yeah. It's very rare that that a member of the Eocosta, the Dragon Keepers, or an Our Dragon does not immediately. So you have a feeling like, what is this? And then you can hear the gate start to creak, and sort of the as the main gate is raised. And as this is happening, you hear sort of a series of trumpets from the wall, and you hear, "Make way for the general!" And then there's just this, "Who? Who?" They all stand at attention, and you can see just this sort of rain of sort of flower petals and confetti that is being thrown from the buildings that sort of border Queen's Lane that leads to the Queen's Gate. Yeah, here come the general. Hamilton intensifies. That's exactly what I was thinking. And through the gate, you can see there is a long line of Valyrian knights, about a dozen of the cavalry, the outriders, that comes galloping through at pace. And you can hear the shouting of officers, and you can see on the rooftops now, there are not members of the Eroth Tikal or the Veloth Tel Vas, but these are rangers, military archers, sort of Stormwatch, right, that are on the rooftops, sort of guarding or making a show of whomever this is. And after about a dozen of the outriders come through on horseback, you can see another figure with brunette hair about just above the shoulder, short and short-ish and well kept. They seem to have a patch over one of their eyes that has sort of the emblem of the Vascraturia. You can see sort of like the red and the black over the eye patch. Gold and dark gray plate fineries, ceremonial armor, and a long flowing red and gold cloak. A feminine presenting individual coming through on this beautiful sort of chestnut mare that is also sort of decorated in war fineries with tassels of gold and royal saddles. And you can see also the symbols of the Vascraturia that are emblazoned on her armor as she kind of makes her way through. And as a military city, this is the High General of the Dear Nath. And Harmony, you recognize this woman immediately as she enters. That is probably the most powerful military personnel, the military persona that you could have possibly hoped to encounter in the city. And she begins making her way through south of the Queen's Gate as more of the flower petals and the confetti are sort of thrown from the ramparts. Are you doing anything else? You can absolutely try to push to get through, or you can try to signal someone, but that's the situation as it is playing out. Random encounter, slight delay, but the High General of the Vascraturian Dear Nath is sort of slowly trotting into the city. And actually, you're a little bit further back here.
Would Willow recognize this person as a, civilian, as a citizen under the crown?
History check.
$22.
Yes.
Just real softly, Willow, just under her breath. Holy shit.
Harmony's just staring. And also, would Harmony know... I know this is like a high-profile individual, but would Harmony know if the general is going on their way out or has come back from any kind of like task force or
It's
mission.
likely that they are here for the celebration, coming from the capital, coming from the City of Lights itself.
Holy shit is in fact correct. I suppose I wasn't expecting to see the High General this morning. And Harmony will just like respectfully wait for the High General to pass.
Okay. I'm assuming, based on the context, Key and Amina are a little bit less impressed by the High General showing up. Right.
Amina's has more of a, so the higher you are in the military here, the more you're treated like a celebrity? Or is this because you all have a holiday?
Both.
Exactly. Column A, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
All right. Is this going to impede on what we're doing at all today?
Will it, DM? No.
So with this encounter, you are delayed for about half an hour.
Oy.
So it's about a half an hour delay. So you can either make your way around and head back towards the docks, or you can. The Lawmaster's Hall is only about 10 minutes. It's going to take you an hour and a half at least to get all the way around, or you can just wait the half an hour and wait for the general to have her little sort of mini parade, and then half an hour later they will sort of let you pass and let you go through.
I figure we just wait.
I'm fine with waiting.
It's definitely an interesting addition. The High General is here for the holiday of Rebel's End, which is tomorrow. It makes sense that she would arrive the day before. And security, you're all kind of just now starting to realize that security is tighter than it ever has been. Beyond even the past few days, the presence of the Dragon Keepers, the increase in the foot traffic of the military, the increase in training drills and patrols, it all kind of makes sense now to have the High General here. And it also makes sense that it's the holiday of Rebels and you have this interaction. So you're delayed. You probably arrive here about 10, and by about 10:30 in the morning, you with your credentials, they finally, after the High General sort of makes her way around, there is an entrance below, right about here. Okay, there is sort of a gate here that leads into a cavern. There's a whole cavern system below Aefyntir's shield, which doubles as a secondary interior fortification. And there are barracks and garrisons and armories there as well. So both above and below Aefyntir's shield is an entire complex. It's actually quite impressive. And that's where most of the military is stationed. Right? So this entire hill, like the hilltop of Aefyntir's shield, is sort of a two-layered tiered fortress that was sort of built into the natural stone, like Dragonstone from Game of Thrones. And it takes the general's envoy, again, about 20-25 minutes, and then about 25 minutes to a half an hour, seeing your badge, and again, the guard being very apologetic. Sorry about that, but have you seen for yourself? Like, we can let you all on through.
Thank you.
And there's still a big crowd, and some people are shouting and disapproval. A few people, right? There's always some dissenters and protesters, but most people, there are some people on balconies that had been throwing flower petals and confetti. And I know, again, Key and Amina are kind of rolling their eyes, not amused by the delay. But after that, so that was about, again, 9:30, 10:30 or so. You're back on the road about 10:45, 10:50. In the morning, before the 11 a.m. bell, just before the 11 a.m. bell, you are able to make your way around and to the streets of the Justicara's building.
Nice.
I'm going to change maps here, and we're going to...
By the way, did the High General's armor look clunky, or did it look like really cool?
A little bit of both. It looked really cool and very pretty and very ceremonial, but also functional. And you know that the High General does have a reputation for quelling 2 armed uprisings in the Heartland, and also beating back an army of one of the Hobgoblin warlords in the Wildlands to the northwest, beyond the White Ridge Mountains, also known as the Savage Lands, the Wildlands, beyond Gwynessas, the Twin Sisters. There was a Hobgoblin warlord who had attempted an incursion into Northwatch and had surrounded Northwatch and laid siege to the frontier fortress of Northwatch. The fortress, by all means, should have fallen, but the High General was able to launch a lightning counterattack, and on the 20th day was able to break the siege by dawn on the 20th day, as the Outriders and the General rode in to relieve Northwatch, a heroic holdout from a warlord that had pushed all the way to Northwatch and had besieged it for 19 days. So she does have a reputation, and also 2 armed uprisings from the Watcher's remnants in the Heartland. One outside of Brackenridge and another outside of inside and outside of Grainsville was sort of a civil action. Grainsville was about 100 rebels, and there was also a contingent of sort of a year's worth of hit-and-run ambushes from bandits who were believed to have been associated with the Watcher's remnants in and around Brackenridge, which she also quelled, chasing them into...
How long ago was that?
That was about 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yep, so sort of small skirmishes. Now, the Battle of Northwatch was last 2 years ago. It was the spring of the previous year. Right around it was right before the eclipse, right before the solar eclipse. So a couple things happening. But as you approach the Lawmaster's Hall, the door is ajar, and you can see some familiar faces inside chatting with the Lawmaster, including one Sergeant Liliana, surrounded by her entourage of 4 royal guards,
Yes.
Lieutenant Ludwig, and an imposing gentleman seated behind a desk who seems to look a bit dejected and has his hand on his forehead, seemingly both dejected and overwhelmed by many things that could have been happening. Again, the arc falling from the sky, the Sahuagin, the missing persons, having a chat with veteran Lieutenant Gunter Ludwig, all kind of having a conversation together at the Lawmaster's office. 2 royal guards await you at the door, seeing your pin, the 2 crossed pole arms that are usually sort of stationed at the door, they slowly aside. There is also a royal knight standing beside the guards as well, also on patrol, a formality for important places of business. And the royal knight also just gives you, Harmonious, a very subtle bow of reverence and sort of a chivalrous bow as you approach the door.
Willow hid
And as
soon
we
she realized who
enter
it
the
was.
next phase of this
Willow was like,
campaign.
"Oh,
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a break. High General
let's go ahead
Sandra
and take 10
Alaris,
minutes. We'll pick
who,
up at the Lawmaster's
as we
Hall.
had
Take
just
care of yourselves, everybody.
gone over,
We'll be back
Harmony
here
does
at 11:51.
immediately recognize and recall some
tarot
gossip
cards have
about the
been
High
pulled,
General.
random encounter has been
One
pulled.
being
The
that
adversary card has
High General
been
Sandra
resolved,
Alaris
but
is cautious,
resolved. So there is
and
something
collected.
out there, right? That we know
Only
above
really
game,
enters
there's
fights she
something
can
out there,
win,
right?
but also
Rudolph knows
tends
above
to
game, there's
harry
something out
and
there
find ways to
following
harry
you,
and
watching
harass her
you, but
enemies so that
in
they
character,
can't win.
Y'all have no
either.
idea.
Cool boy.
Yes,
Kind of
yes.
the analogy
take a
that
break,
we used was
10
Bernard
minutes, we'll be back here
Montgomery,
at 11:51.
the British
and,
general circa World War II,
we'll see y'all in a bit.
who frustrated his enemies by
Be back.
forcing them to a stalemate and then only advancing when he had the upper hand. She is a very similar general. She has big boots to fill. She comes from a long line of military personnel, a long line of a prestigious military family dating back to before the Centuries War, as made famous by the Centuries War. And she has, again, big shoes and big combat boots, and big gauntlets or greaves to fill, based on her family history. She has proven herself in battle. She is brave, but there's a lot of discussion in more sort of general peacetime about tactics and about operational modalities and how a general would proceed. But again, her victories speak for herself. She has displayed some uncertainty and some overly cautious traits on the battlefield, some worry about her ability to command in a more intensive conflict, but her victories speak for themselves. She is brave, and she is capable, at the very least, and she holds a special position amongst the people based on her recent victories. And that is definitely some juicy tidbits of information that Harmony does recall.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. As you approach the Lawmaster's Hall, I gotta check one thing on your allies. Mother Signorella of the Furia Sanctus, whom you had met at Halavas, is here as well, from your ally card. We have a long list of people waiting at the Lawmaster's Hall. The new art there. Mother Signorella, Shield of the Dawn. She was the one who had appeared at the docks, come off of the ship, the large woman in armor.
Yeah.
And again, as you approach Mother... Actual mommy. The two royal guards separate their pikes. Valerian Royal Knight gives you a chivalrous bow, a slight, subtle chivalrous bow as you all approach. And the door to the Lawmaster's Hall is open before you. There's a lot of looks between folks you recognize and folks some of you may be meeting for the first time, as they anxiously await your entrance.
Harmony will take point, leading her associates into the room.
Okay.
Mhm.
Lieutenant Ludwig stands stoic, as he always does, and gives you just that sort of sagely Gandalf nod as you enter. Sergeant Liliana does one of the kind of, the subtle face, that
I
pose.
love her. Yeah.
As you enter, and her soldiers kind of turn at attention. Her personal entourage, Mother Signorella, also kind of stoic, a very subtle smile on her face as you enter. A hint of recognition, or knowing look of recognition, as she just... Harmony, it's good to see you again. Alive and well?
Yes. All limbs intact.
It's good to hear. I hope that the blessing of Thorum has kept well with you, and has kept you well. It seems it has. I can only hope that it extends to your companions as well.
It most certainly has, given the past few days.
Don't let me keep you from your business, but I am here for the celebration tomorrow as a representative of the Furia Sanctus. I am told that there is much to be done here in the city as far as cults. Should you require the assistance of one of my order, I'll be happy to provide it. And Captain Eric kind of looks behind and kind of nods to Harmony and kind of does a wave to Willow and Amina and Key.
Willow gives a half-hearted wave, but stays quiet.
And Eric seems very, very excited.
So, nervous energy, being like in another area where there's just a ton of military is forming around Amina, so there's lots of butterflies everywhere now. She's trying to control it, but they're just all over the place.
That's so pretty. Are they pooing? Are the butterflies just pooing everywhere too?
I would hope not, but there's no guarantees.
Plus.
As you kind of linger in the threshold, Lieutenant Ludwig just
with the permission, Harmony will enter the room full.
Okay.
Maybe
So that
Harmony's the secret vampire.
that is that is a resolution from an earlier card, by the way, with the ally. The ally translating to Mother Signorella and Captain Eric, who kind of that's going to factor in. You'll know it when you hear it. But they are both here to provide an easy resource for you from Anna's earlier tarot card pull for pulling the ally, and the adversary is still kind of lurking about, yet to be named. So as you kind of all approach, it's a little bit crowded in here. Sergeant Liliana kind of just pushes her way through and looks back at the Lawmaster and just nods, and her entourage immediately sort of stands to the side in unison, kind of like perfectly separating as she walks through. She kind of rubs a hand along one of their shoulders. He kind of like twitches a little bit, and she kind of comes around to Key and just, Key, darling, how are you holding up?
Oh my, holding up?
Yes. How are you holding up?
I believe I'm holding up well.
Are you sure?
Should I be?
You hold great power. And you still have much to learn. I'm happy to see you all safe. There is much to be done in the city and beyond. The next time we get the chance to work with each other, it'll be outside the gates of Grainsville. I have business there after the holiday. In the meantime, Key, should you, or the rest of your companions, Amina, Willow, and of course, Sergeant Knives, should you need anything of me while I am in town for the celebration, don't hesitate to write. I have a barracks office in a Syndra Shield, and I will see you when you leave Bastion's Hold outside the gates of Grainsville. There's been some disturbances there as of late, and I've been sent to investigate. One way or another, I believe that all roads will take you, or will likely take you, to the City of Lights. I have a feeling I will see you outside the gates of Grainsville. That being said, I take my leave. And she puts a hand on Key's shoulder. And just kind of narrows her eyes a bit. And gives you one final nod. And then looks around at all of you. Kind of knowingly. And just gives this real kind of concerning, knowing smile and back at you. I do like all of you. I think you're a prime example of the best parts of Valerian. I'll make sure that it's known. Don't disappoint me. You can see her kind of longer than usual canines just shimmer a little bit. And she just, come along, ma'am. And her entourage immediately sort of follows in lockstep in unison behind her. Chose her words very carefully there. The Lawmaster, who has yet to introduce himself, just looks up at all of you and says, cryptic as always, that one.
Seems quite her style.
Indeed. Close the door. That would probably be Key.
Oh, I thought he was talking to the guards outside.
He can go and shut the door.
Okay. Thank you. kind of looks around at all of you, and as you all kind of settle into the office, close the door behind you, Lawmaster kind of slowly takes his time to lean forward, sizing all of you up, letting the silence fill the room. There's about a minute of awkward silence. Does anyone speak?
How long does this kind of permeate for?
30 seconds to a minute.
Can
Willow
Harmony
doesn't.
can Harmony try and read the expression on his face, whether he's just like
Yeah, make it.
thinking about stuff, or like are you okay? Do you also need to retire like Gunther? Okay.
Make an insight check.
That is a 15.
15. There's something about the air, but also it seems like it's a power play. But there's also something strange about the air. It smells of blackberries and of lavender and of flowers, and it's heavy. But it dissipates after about a minute or so, and the Lawmaster, intense as he may be, kind of just like nothing happened, and then sort of leans forward. Thank you for answering my summons. I'm Lawmaster Bergovich, Lawmaster of Bastion's Hold. Likely you have all heard of me, one way or another. I know Miss Nithe certainly has, but the rest of you, I hear, are newcomers to the city. Hineda Renaros may have passed through our gates once or twice before, but not in any official capacity. I welcome all of you. Wilhelmina Patrick, I hear you are a very eager and ambitious young artificer. And Amin Nzinga, our friend from the Empire, -1 Kyrosian Imperial soldier. One Mabel Goodberry. I have been told that she has been out walking with the ambassador, but I welcome the rest of you to the hall, and I wish to extend my gratitude for answering my summons so quickly. Or as quickly as you had time. I know you are all very busy, but there have been many things plaguing the city over the past several years, and well, there's plenty of seats. Have a seat. I have asked Mother Signorella here to offer what assistance she may, and with dealing with the Sahuagin problem, I have summoned Captain Eric here to ensure that transportation is made available to you, should you indeed seek to deal with the Sahuagin threat sooner than later. However, and he kind of leans forward, and you can see he's still pausing. He's sort of stammering, and he just kind of motions for you to pull up chairs. Uncertain
Harmony
of
will pull
himself.
up a seat.
Almost. Okay, yep. So you can go ahead and move your tokens wherever you would like. Chairs or no chairs.
Whilst this conversation is happening as well, Harmony is going to keep Gunther in her periphery. Mostly because she knows that he has a very shit poker face. So, just to make sure everything's okay and
Yeah.
nothing's being hidden from us.
Okay, make an insight check at advantage. He also kind of takes a few steps back and sort of stands by the Lawmaster. Make an insight check at advantage because you know Gunter very well.
18.
18. Okay, so this might come in handy here for Anna's other tarot card pull. That is gonna be whoever didn't get the first benefit, which was Harmony, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Willow, Amina, and Key, go ahead and roll a d20 for me. $16, $10, $10. Okay, Key. The card pulled, interestingly enough, was the Bard. And you're not playing a Bard this campaign. We have a Bard here. But with that, I am going to double check the roll table, but I think this was going to be easy enough. That one was from... Huh? Paladin, Wizard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Bard. Okay, can you roll a d4 for me?
That's a 4.
Okay, we've actually already done that. You have scheduled a date with Fiera, so go ahead and roll again. And if it's 4, you can pick 1, 2, or 3.
You know, I rolled another 4. So,
1, 2,
I
or
don't
3.
know. 2.
Okay. Okay.
Oh boy.
There you begin to speak. This is funny, and Anna's gonna get a kick out of this. You begin to speak, and sort of outside the window, there seems to have been sort of a pop-up flash mob of bards that have set up sort of just outside the Lawmaster's Hall, and are about 6 of them. This definitely catches your attention, Amina, and there's sort of like an impromptu sort of almost like sort of like a jam session that sort of has a bit of a slam poetry element, sort of criticizing the Queen and talking about the pomp and circumstance of the holiday, and they're kind of like traipsing around. It's sort of like a comedy show with a comedy pop-up flash mob with music, and they are sort of... The Lawmaster looks very serious, and he was somber and downtrodden, and this is sort of happening right outside the window, and he just kind of looks over and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And it's about another... So he looks very unhappy, but what do y'all do? He seems like he's about to get up and go make a scene.
Oh boy. Harmony will look towards Amina and Key, since they seem to socialize with many a bard.
This is the second mob in 24 hours.
Captain...
Is it us? Are we the problem?
Captain Eric says, I don't mind. I can go and handle that. I can let them know that there's important business. I know the Lawmaster has some... Yeah, I'd be happy to, I'm not saying that I'm qualified.
Bless Eric.
But...
Just be gentle with them. They're artists. They don't know any better.
Yeah,
or
no.
maybe they do, but
I mean...
they obviously don't know that there's a meeting happening right now.
Right. I mean, myself, it's probably like... It'll probably be done quickly. I'll see if I can get them to speed up. Maybe if we take the Blessed Mother with us, she'll, and Mother Signorella just nods and... But yeah, that's good. Good plan. Good plan, everybody. Let's go. And Lieutenant Ludwig and the Lawmaster just kind of are looking at Eric like... He's like, "I'm gonna go do the thing."
You go do the thing,
right?
right?
I'll Mother, and he just nods again, kind of looks knowingly at all of y'all, and kind of opens the door. Opener closed. Right, got it. And
He's like an excited puppy.
yeah, and he kind of runs out. He's like, excuse me. Hello, yes, awesome. And you see him start kind of immediately tipping them, and is like throwing coins into the...
The best way to get a bard to stop doing anything is to give them money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He forgets to close the door, and the mother just kind of gently closes it on the way out. And there's about another 2 minutes of awkward. They're kind of trolling him a little bit outside, but eventually, when the mother shows up, you can see they're having a friendly conversation, and they're sort of pointing off in the distance, and you can see the Blessed Mother, right, who seems to be as sort of conveying an air of importance, and the Lawmaster says they've got about another 60 seconds before I go out there. And about 3.5 minutes later, they eventually pack up. Well, since it began, you can see them packing up and the music stops. And it's kind of a pretty hilarious tarot card pull. I'm here for it. Eric probably spent at least a couple gold pieces in silver, probably the equivalent of $100-$200. Trying to get them to leave, but I mean, ship captains make a lot in bulk, but still a lot of money, right, for a ship captain, right? And Mother Signorella's like, you really don't have to. And he's like, but eventually they do kind of start the process of moving, and yeah, best card pull. And once again, you are in the presence of the Lawmaster. The Lawmaster sort of leans forward again and just, now if we cannot have any more bardic pop-up troops, I think we can get down to business. Thank the gods for Mother Signorella. So, what was your perception? What was your insight check, by the way, Harmony?
It was 18.
18. Lieutenant Ludwig has an air of seriousness about him, like the Lawmaster is about to. But it's kind of like, with that high of a roll, you're getting the vibe that his facial expressions and his thoughts are, you ready for this one? Kind of a thing.
Oh boy.
About a year and a half ago, the garrison here at Bastion's Hold, along with the shields, led an operation to clear out several cultist hideouts within our sewer system. A group of irregulars was sent east across the Velas Ocean to Fort Justinia, our foothold on the Isle of Mestikal. Shortly thereafter, we experienced a full solar eclipse. A strange phenomenon, a full solar eclipse that everyone was so familiar with. Now we have god ships falling from the sky, mass pilgrimages, religious experiences, bandits and rebels, warlords popping up around our borders. The crown is beset on all sides by enemies. This phenomenon, by the way, is something that has been seen but not in over a century. In any case, of the 5 irregulars sent into the jungle by the Crown to investigate, only 2 returned alive and barely sane. A veritable horde of frothing fanatical cultists soon threw themselves willingly against our defenses at Fort Justinia within an hour, several hours after the eclipse, from the time it took them to run as fast as they could from the jungle to our defenses, testing our resolve and resources, as well as the mettle of the men. Fortunately, thank the gods, our Marines were able to weather the storm, so to speak, holding valiantly against this wave of blood, bone, and fanaticism as they quite literally threw themselves upon the parapets and bulwarks, throwing themselves willingly onto the spikes, seeking death by the blade, if not for a lack of pikes for them to impale themselves on. A gruesome, grisly sight. Willful suicide by agents of the Crown. It's been a year since that horrible experience, and this cult of blood has gone mysteriously silent. However, 2 new cults seem to have been eagerly waiting in the wings to take their place, and now tests my patience once again. After a thorough sweep of the sewers, our follow-up response to an onslaught of increasing missing persons reports. Do you know what we found in the sewers?
No.
Nothing. Just as we left it. All of our guards were unharmed and unfazed, and none of our public workers reported anything out of the ordinary. Not a trace of any missing persons. All the old layers in the sewers were completely abandoned. So where's everyone gone? Most concerning, however, and what has prompted us to seek additional assistance from the Aeroth to call irregulars, specifically all of you, is the disappearance of the Lord Governor's daughter.
Huh.
And of course, we expect all of you to act with discretion in this matter. The Lord Governor also happens to be my brother, and this is my niece that has gone missing.
How old is she?
23.
Do you have an image of her likeness?
Kind of unlocks a drawer in the desk. The nature of the disappearance, I've been keeping this locked away. Strange phenomenon and strange cults that seem to lurk in the shadows that we know not where or how they are operating. Two things. One, a cult that we have been calling the Cult of the Black Sun. We have seen those that we have captured, or others that have committed no crime and simply exist, seem to be preaching this new word of a new god or something of that nature, a new era. Some of it's political, some of it's spiritual. Some people are just engaging in the community in strange ways. Many we can't prosecute, many we can, but a tattoo, the black sun, usually at the nape of the neck. Others engaging in more nefarious activities, more hidden. Others with strange runes of a foreign language or code that we have not yet deciphered that seems to coincide with a more solid color black sun, black ink only. Those seemingly of a higher rank have gold and orange emblazoned into the sun itself. The other seems to be what we're calling the Cult of Three. This unholy trinity, it seems, of even more new dark entities. Whatever this trio or trinity is, we don't really or can't really put a handle on it, but we're learning more as time progresses. And he kind of hands you all the image of a portrait of this woman, and she has she's dressed in sort of like black and sort of crimson fineries as the governor's daughter. She looks very, very unamused, right? Looking like she's miserable posing for a painting. Short, she has an undercut with a bob, and it's sort of pale white hair that may have been dyed but kind of swept over to one side, looking very, again, annoyed or unamused to have to pose for a painting.
And her name?
Lady Jane Badav.
Do you know the last place she was seen?
She would likely be in one of three regular places. Our agents on the ground, including one of the hands of the Queen, and several of our informants have reported that she would likely be at a not-so-secret gambling den at the beach of Leviathan, the Seaside Bath, or the Double B.
Is that some sort of inn?
Also known as the Hidden Fruit.
Oh, it's a brothel.
Yes, the berry brothel.
Does he look really uncomfortable and awkward?
Yes, she was engaged to marry a military man, but instead absconded with several ladies of the night. And sort of a fit of protest, the Lord Governor is not handling it so well. The promise of marriage seems to have dissolved. To each their own, of course, but she's making it a very public thing for him and seems to delight in it. But that was one of her last known locations, was the the berry brothel. She has 2 partners there. It's also work there, and yes. I have a progressive mind for these things. I do my best. I really want.
I am an ally. I insist. I have a coexist bumper
Yes.
sticker.
I love the BLT community. Don't.
Yeah. Also a good sandwich. But any additional information you can find out about this cult would be appreciated. I don't know if she's involved, but your main priority here in the city should be to locate Lady Badav, Governor Badav's daughter. Different, out of character, different families, regardless of marriage and naming conventions. There is no, like, the masculine aspect has to take the name, so there's a lot of same families, different names, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's Lord Governor Badav and Jane Badav and Lawmaster Grissom Bergovich. Again, your first priority in the city should be to locate Lady Badav, ensure her safety, and for us to pray that this new cult is less sinister and violent and last than the cult of blood. All we know about these new cults are the symbols. The 3 stars of crimson and black and the black sun. One with a plain black sun, a second with runes in a foreign language or code, and a third type of black sun tattoo, which seems to indicate high-ranking members. 2 separate cults, one with a fairly straightforward iconography, another with 3 separate iconographies. One code phrase we have deciphered amongst this cult of 3, this unholy trinity, is the phrase, "Dark ladies watch over you." That is a code that can allow you to locate some agents. Duskwatch presence in the city is limited, as this is usually their purview, and one of those agents that are here are focused on rooting out actual members of the cult itself. That would be Lieutenant Benethria, following trails of magic and occult symbology, that sort of thing. This particular incident requires a more subtle hand, which is why I am entrusting it to the Dragon Keepers. I was told that you are the people for the job. I expect it to be done and to be prioritized. Do this, and I will expedite and equip your mission to parley with the merfolk and address the Sahuagin incursions. With all due haste, whatever you need. I will make that an immediate priority after this is done. Supplies or accommodations you might need, parley with the merfolk or address the Sahuagin incursions, you have my word, it will be done.
Right. Other than this arranged marriage, is there anything else we should know that could possibly have her, I don't know, flee and get caught up with a cult?
Well, she's naturally rebellious, rejecting the gospels of the gods, the testaments of the gods, the will of her father, family tradition. Everything she does seems to be a subtle act of rebellion. This sort of free-form, laissez-faire attitude, very popular amongst some of the cults, and it would make sense that she might find herself, perhaps with some of the more seedy elements that may frequent the brothel, or perhaps one of her other favorite locations, the Seaside Bath. It's a place of gossip and information. Yes, of course, the tavern and the bakery. And Lady Ellen is a busybody. She's got no shortage of gossip. But everyone knows if you're looking to do something illicit, you would go to the Seaside Bath. She tends to frequent with her partners. By the way, I am very supportive.
You may have been, but her father arranged her to marry someone that I'm assuming she probably couldn't stand to breathe the same air as.
Yes, it would be correct.
So why was she
does
not given
her-
voice?
Sorry, what?
Why was she not given voice?
Well, she gave herself a voice and refused to marry Lord Seymour's son. And in process, to have left her family downtrodden and in a bit of a political shamble. The Lieutenant General Seymour is a bit of a... We call them soggies. Soldiers other than grunts. Soggy, flimsy, weak. Yes, yeah, sort of rose to prominence through flour and body lotion, that sort of thing. Soft. Smells real nice. Never seen a day in the mud, is what I'm trying to say.
I love him.
Understood. And where can we
disaster?
where can we find this son?
Simon is not one to... I do not think that he is one that was so bothered by it himself. I don't think he was thrilled about the idea in any case, but the person that was most upset by this was let's see, Lord Seymour himself. Of course, if Lord Seymour's retainer, Craig Seymour, his retainer, for the map so I can get the name.
Are there any enemies of the family or enemies of her father that would want to capitalize on her rebellious nature?
Capitalize? I'm not so sure. But what I can say with certainty is that there was a retainer of Craig Seymour, an individual by the name of Samuel Haskell, would have been dispatched if Lord Seymour was to cause any trouble. I dread the thought. It would be given to Mr. Haskell.
Aside from her partners, does she have any friends?
Oh, she's lots of friends, yes. My personal
Does she have-
recommendation is to start at one of the 3 locations. Those are the places that she most frequently visited. I'm sorry, carry on, your question?
Does she have any special skills that would be relevant? Is she particularly athletic or good at disguises or something? I don't know. Any special skills that we need to be aware of?
Well, she always had a sort of rudimentary knack for magical talent, sort of on par with an acolyte, but nothing sort of worthy of recruitment into the High Tower, that sort of thing, into the Eocosta or the Tower of Mages. It's simply basic magical talent, and of course, penchant for fun, so much at the displeasure of her father. Indulgement in fine whiskies, strong drink, lots of raucous parties, that sort of thing.
I'm already rooting for her way too much.
Yeah.
Flee, girl, flee.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
Good
not into
for
the arms
her.
of a cult, though. No, maybe
Maybe not
into
into the arms of the cult, but like the leaving for the two partner. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah. I
Alright.
could certainly take some time to compile a list of the names of all of her acquaintances for you, but I think, given that there are so many, probably take a bit amount of a day to actually compile known acquaintances with the help of Lieutenant Ludwig. I'm sure he'd be thrilled to do so. Lieutenant Ludwig kind of flutters his eyes. But
Is talking to her known acquaintances something that you guys could do with your various manpower while we're scouting locations and such?
we'll focus on putting that name together for you, and that list of names together for you. In the meantime, all the most important persons of interest are those whom I have already listed. Locations of interest. There are, of course, her partners at that could be at any of those three places as well. One of her partners is actually a masseuse at the bath, sort of doubles as a cocktail waitress and as a masseuse at the Seaside bath, as well as at the Berry. Her name is Carmilla. Would be a good place to start.
Yes, I suppose we should start there, unless anybody else has any questions.
Her other partner's name is Xander.
Ooh.
I'm just going to write these down for my own. So, persons of interest: Camilla, Xander, Mr. Haskell, Lord Seymour.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can you throw her name down too?
Lord Craig Seymour and his son Simon Seymour III. A long line of the Seymour family. And also, we have...
Hey, I spelled her name right.
Okay. So we have her partners, Carmilla and Xander. The right hand of Lord Craig Seymour, Mr. Haskell, the fixer. Lord Seymour's son, Simon Seymour III. Lady Jane Badav, and her father, Lord Governor Arthur Badav. I think that was everyone, all the people of interest, yes? Or the immediate people of interest. So a long list of names, 3 possible locations, and the rest is up to you.
Yes. suppose we should head off to one of these locations then and start there. Since this is priority.
We will put our agents on further investigating leads, but this has been a long process leading up to your entry here today. All this information, as you suggested, is not something that has simply idly fallen into our laps. This is the product of an ongoing investigation. This is what we have, and we had hoped that you would help us from here while we continue on our own. We'll compile a more thorough dossier for you in the meantime, but this is all we have, and our hands are a bit tied with the celebration tomorrow. We were hoping to have this resolved by then, but she has been missing now for 36 hours. Coming up on 48 by the time sun sets tonight.
Right. We will do our best to look into this and report back anything we find.
He leans in, kind of close, real low to the desk. I greatly appreciate it. So does Lieutenant Ludwig, and so does the Lord Governor Badov. Anything you need, as far as any additional tasks or jobs you wish to complete here, or if there is a personal favor, if I or the Lord Governor can give it at my request, I will do everything I can to see it done. And I am sure that should you return his daughter to him, Lord Governor would be beside himself and most thrilled with your service to the crown.
Understood. And Harmony will lean a little close as well, and then look to Gunther. If you could get my old friend here to retire as a personal favor, that would be brilliant.
Bollocks! No need to retire, Harmony. We've been over this.
You've fallen asleep on your feet, old man.
I've got another 20 years.
That's what they all say. Either way, I suppose we should get going now, yes?
That's what they all say, but no one follows through.
Harmony
I'm just curious how long he's had 20 more years.
Harmony, my biggest fear is trading my sword for a plowshare. You know this. Besides, what am I going to do on a farm? I don't have a farm. I have a villa. A humble one at that. A ranch. You've seen it. Am I going to just sit in a chair and rock back and forth until my days wind down and I fade to dust on the front porch of my villa? No. Drinking lemonade? Not for me.
If I might make a suggestion,
Yes.
we did pass by the orphanage. I'm sure there's plenty of little ones you could train up.
You love children, don't you, Gunther?
Some children.
These ones
says
are
retirement
fighters. These ones are
nothing says
definitely
retirement
fighters.
like an adopted child army.
I do believe,
Listen,
if I recall correctly, there was a small orc baby who was rather feisty. I'm sure you would love that.
Well, I'll do what everyone does, and I'll just drive school bus. No, just kidding. Just kidding. He says, no, that does seem like something that could be admirable. Training a new generation of soldiers.
You could travel the world, see more of things than you could as a soldier.
See, there's tons to do.
Still implies retirement.
Maybe we could
That's
make
correct. Yes.
maybe we could
That's
make
what we're
it
talking about.
extended paid leave. Not exactly retirement, but did say they'd owe us a personal favor.
If I could somehow serve the crown in an official capacity as perhaps an emissary, I would very much like to see the wilds of Karnak and the four houses of Eladris, as well as the great marshes and fortress of Sphernthesic. I hear it's magnificent.
Maybe you could be like the personal guard of some emissary or something.
Well, if Lady Nzinga will have me, it's possible I might have a future in her employ on her return to Karnos.
All depends on my fan base.
Indeed. You do have an ambitious career at the Lux Academy waiting for you. I hear that the arrangements have already been made and that a reference letter has already been sent.
There are
Provided to
no
you.
secrets here, are there?
Well, considering how closely that myself and the Lawmaster work with the Aeroth Decall, there are no secrets among our dragons, no. Among our dragons and the Lawmasters. And as the Lawmaster's right hand, which is already halfway to retirement, yes, we are privy to the intercommunications of the our dragons. Hi, Cat. Vancouver by night. Hello.
Well, it's good to know that my future is in good hands.
He's quite diligent, that one. I think he only left myself unattended when I was younger for what? How long was it, Gunther? Several hours?
And you are all the better for it now, Harmony. Look at you now. Look at how
Oh, absolutely.
strong and independent you've become based on that one interaction alone. It made you the woman you are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there were, of course, several dozen more incidents like that, and it builds character.
Harmony's just smiling. Just, oh. You're in good hands, Amina.
Again, so long as I get to see the fortress of Sphernthesic, I would be happy to tour the wilds of Karnak and see the great trees that grow there, the redwoods, and then also the four houses. I hear it's like stepping into another world.
It is completely different from here. So long as one enters with love and peace, you are welcome.
That sounds like a welcome change of pace. But, of course, for now, there is the subject of a missing person. On a more somber note, the governor's daughter. Time is of the essence, and pleasantries aside, I believe we should focus on the fact that there is someone's life at stake here, as well as a long list of other missing persons, about a dozen. And
So,
he looks over at the
are we
Lawmaster.
sure that these cults are the ones that have taken them?
Gunther looks over at the Lawmaster, and the Lawmaster kind of answers your question, kind of gesturing forward. It's very confusing. You see, there's the two different cults, the disappearances, the lack of any layer that we've been able to find. No one has really broken many laws, but people have just been disappearing. We have no reports of them turning up in other cities. This is the Lawmaster, by the way. No reports of them turning up in other cities, like the Adracolino or anywhere in the Heartland, or Halivas, or even in as far as the Cobra Cabana in Mesticao. No one has... nothing. Some people have been missing for weeks, even. And we haven't found anything.
Are you sure this isn't somehow related to the Sahagin?
It could be. But given that the governor's daughter is one of the missing persons, has been something that has been pushed forward as an utmost priority. I feel ashamed of myself for even engaging in pleasantries here with Lieutenant Ludwig and reminiscing. And so many potential lives are at stake. For all we know, they could have simply absconded, but the governor wishes to find a definitive answer one way or another. If this is simply a cult of vacations, the governor would like to know one way or another. That's, of course, a rosy best-case scenario, but there have been 3 murders as well in the past 10 days. individuals that are either low-ranking members of the military. One was a private, the other one was a bar patron and a metal worker. The other one was a carpenter. Seemingly no connection. But they have... One was discovered in the first 10-day, and then 2 more in the second 10-day. We would like to avoid an escalation in murders in the city, especially with the High General here. And with all the missing persons, not knowing if they're related in some way, the governor would like to resolve this sooner than later, and we believe that Jane Madav may be the key. If she has left the city, she would be seen. She is a person of extreme interest. The white hair is hard to miss. Dyed it, of course, but I don't think that she would. I think we all know her too well.
You said she has some rudimentary magical abilities, and
She does.
people use magic to disguise themselves, so
That's what
how
we
do
had
we know
suspected.
she didn't do that?
That could be a possibility. The governor is not leaving anything off of the table. At the end of the day, he simply wants to find answers. One way or another. She left, or is disguising herself, or is engaged in some sort of triple life beyond what we already know. The governor simply wants to assure that she is safe. The governor is not an evil man. She has already done the worst she could possibly do as far as assumptions of marriage and the fracturing of such, which was about 1.5 years ago. Little less than 1.5 years ago. My worry is for Lord Seymour and these other cultish elements that she may be involved with, either laterally or on the periphery of. And of course, the ill intent of Mr. Haskell has been known to make people disappear, especially when Lord Seymour is humiliated. Such is the way with these Sagis, they can never really accept any slight. Perceived, social or otherwise.
Seems like there's a lot to look into.
Indeed. This took us
You said
a few frantic nights of not sleeping. To gather all this together, at least.
Well, you said she's been missing for 36 hours, right?
Just about, yes.
So less than 2 days. Have you spoken to anyone yet yourselves, or done any searches?
Yes, we haven't found anything. Another sweep of the sewers, of the surrounding environs, as well as getting all this information, and holds up the documents one more time. That's been our cursory research. It's all that we've... I mean... I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself, but this is quite a bit. I was simply hoping that you'd be able to help us with the investigation as we continue with what we have.
Right.
Again, just gestures to
I'm
all
just
the
trying
documents again.
I'm just trying to make sure we don't waste time doing something that was already done, that's all.
It is appreciated. My apologies if that came off wrong, but we're only so limited. And again, we were hoping for help from the Dragons.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Good.
All right, so I guess we're heading out then, right?
I suppose we are.
Indeed. I'm sorry I don't have more information, but this is all we were able to get, and we'll continue to work with you along this investigation.
Absolutely. We will do our best, and as I said, we will report back as much as we find.
Looks over at Ludwig. Tough crowd, Ludwig, and I am happy to see another one of your protégés have risen to such prominence. And 3 other new members.
A little.
and 3 other new members of the Dragon Keepers, Wilhelmina Patrick, Mina Nzinga, Kini Lirinaros. The crown is better for having you part of it. If you are visitors or auxiliaries, I hear that your talents are second to none. I'd be happy to have you on this investigation.
As
Thank you.
everyone is heading out, Amina's gonna hang back and
Okay.
wait for everyone else to leave, and just look at the Lawmaster because something he said stuck with her. He said that he felt bad about like taking a minute to reminisce, and she's just gonna say, "Never feel bad for stepping back. That's how you see the bigger picture. We'll do all we can to find her and the others."
I think I'll do some writing. Just a quick verse. And then we'll resume the investigation. Thank you, Amina. Your words have moved me. And takes it like a little black book of poems and starts kind of writing and sketching in them. And Lieutenant Ludwig says, I'm going to go ahead and continue following up on a secondary lead here while the Lawmaster works on his poems. Kind of just as he's walking out and kind of with y'all, he's like, they're not very good. And I wanted to get out of there before he starts reading to me. Good day, Lawmaster, and just kind of shuts the door.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
So we have the gambling den at the beach Leviathan, the seaside bath, and the berry brothel.
Yes, the berry brothel. So there's 3 different leads, and also the list of your names. Her partners, Carmilla and Xander. The right hand of Lord Craig Seymour, Mr. Haskell, the son of Lord Seymour, who seems to have not been thrilled about the marriage anyway, so is last on the suspect list. Lord Craig Seymour seemed to be much more upset than his son, Simon, the missing person herself being Lady Jane Badav, as well as a dozen other missing persons, in which the Gunther would say, before we part ways, if you do find any of the other missing persons, I'm sure they will be a small reward for all of them. Likely not anything as large or even coming close to what you would have received from bringing the governor's daughter back, but certainly the right thing to do.
I was gonna say it's probably not about the coin anyway.
Agreed.
All right. So, what do we check first?
Broth.
The Leviathan is. Well, I was gonna say the Leviathan's probably gonna be real quiet this time of day. Just based on how it was last night. But otherwise I have no idea.
Seaside Bath was also known as the congregate place for gossip.
For gossip, yeah.
Yes. But for gossip of illicit activities, whereas the baker, Miss Ellen, has been known to have all of the other hot gossip pertaining to politics and personal business, whereas the Bathhouse is where you would go to gain information of a less than savory nature, extra legal information and secrets.
So where would we find Lady Ellen?
She's a baker.
Yes.
Right.
Lady Ellen is that is the implication was that it would be, you'd probably get more information based on this particular case from the Bathhouse, but that if you were to ask a common like sort of a random commoner where to get secrets, the random commoner would say, "Oh, Miss Ellen, she's a bit of a busybody," and I think the implication was that it might be a wasted trip because she's probably more interested in the marriage than anything else. She might have some
Right.
information, but or you know, more information on the Lawmaster himself and on his poetry, or maybe his own activities.
Here's what I was gonna suggest. We can go to the Bathhouse, and while we're going there to get information, maybe we send a message to Mabel and have her talk to the baker.
It's the Honey Pot, by the way. The Honey Pot
Fantastic.
Bakery.
Um,
Love that.
Uh,
Love
I
that.
feel like
Miss
I feel like
Ellen at
she's
the
gonna
Honey
wanna-
Pot.
I feel like Mabel's gonna want to make a trip to the baker regardless, and this way we can kind of divide and conquer a little bit. Any ideas or?
Sorry, I was writing down my notes.
No, you're good. I just was
Lieutenant
like, it
Ludwig,
was
by the
awkward,
way,
and I was like,
just
"Yeah."
gives you a gives you all a the hand over the heart, the closed fist over the heart, the might and majesty, and kind of heads out to rendezvous with Mother Signorilla and Captain Eric, kind of giving them sort of temporary holding orders, and separates from the group. Sorry.
No, that actually sounds like a good idea. Sending Mabel to the baker. The one she can
Yeah.
get more supplies, but also, one person who loves pastries to another,
Mhm.
she may be able to get more information out of Lady Jane than the rest of us could.
Well, and approaching Miss Ellen as a group would probably be more difficult anyway.
Mhm.
A
So
bit harder to manage a conversation in a group.
to the Seaside Bath.
I think that's probably our
I
best
can use
bet.
Bath.
To...
I feel like the only one. I don't know. I could use Bath. I don't know if I'm the only one.
I could use a massage. That would be amazing.
All right. Well, let's not lose too much focus, though.
Of course. We can multitask.
Multitasking is an important function in everyday life.
Of course. Absolutely agree.
So, we're going to the Seaside Bath.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Delightful. Okay.
By the time
I'm sorry,
you,
I'm
that's okay.
tired. I'm super tired.
The we're almost at time. The bell, as you kind of walked in and got settled after the troop had been dismantled, struck 11, and you were there for about 50. I think you were there for about a half an hour. It's about 11:30 in the morning. The Seaside Bath is a little bit closer to. Yeah, here it is. Kind of back the way you came. Not quite entirely seaside, but it is right over here. So it'll probably be about an hour for you to get there. About an hour's walk. 45 minutes to an hour.
Hominy will pull aside one of the patrolling guards and will get them to send a message to Mabel, just kind of updating her on the situation and also being like, can you suss out this bakery, please? That would be really
Okay.
cool of you.
Oh no, she has a side job to go to the baker.
Guards nod in acknowledgement.
Darn.
And we'll send that message to Mabel once they run into her. Okay. So anything that you're doing between the Justicars building and the bathhouse on the hour-long walk?
Grabbing a snack?
Yeah, there is. Okay, so there's
Yeah.
about 5 different vendors along the way. One is selling fried octopus balls on a stick, which are amazing. If you've never actually had them, takoyaki is fucking incredible.
I want them. They look so good.
I mean, that's the first one. There's takoyaki, and then there's fresh oysters, sort of like side by side over in the this particular area, which is sort of like middle class residential, lower middle to middle, sort of mostly sort of middle level soldiers here. So yeah, definitely a lot of sort of seafood, and then there's sort of like fish cakes, sort of seasoned fish cakes with some like spicy mustard, like on like closer to the Queen's Gate, as well as lots of other fruit and vegetables and pastries by the Queen's Gate, as well as some fish cakes sort of in between.
Ooh. Harmony will grab
Mabel-
some takoyaki.
Okay.
'Cause that sounds really
Yeah.
good.
Oh, they're amazing. Takoyaki's so good.
Mabel or Willow will also be getting some takoyaki.
Okay. Takoyaki is 2 silver for a stick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Amina's also gonna grab some because it's probably something she's never had before. So
Okay.
He
like,
definitely ends up
looks
getting
great.
pastries and fruit.
Okay. So
Fruit sounds
I'll
good
cover
too.
I'll cover lunch for the group.
okay.
Just
So
however much it ends
Aw.
up, I'll cover.
yeah. 2 gold for a stick of 5 octopus balls. They're not huge. They're like medium size. You can 5 on a skewer, and then also for the pastries by the Queen's Gate for the holiday are bear claws, and those are 5 copper pence a piece. And there's fresh apples and oranges, 2 copper a piece for each.
So I'm looking at what, 2 gold and a silver?
Do you want? Yeah. So, are you getting an apple, an orange, both?
An
Key?
apple.
An apple. Okay. So, an apple and a bear claw would be 7 copper. Altogether, that would be 6 copper. 6 silver, 7 copper.
Okay.
For lunch.
I will also throw a silver tip at both vendors.
Okay. All right. The
Nice.
the octopus balls are well worth it. So it's about $20 for a stick of 5, but it's a specialty item. It's finely chopped and minced bits of octopus, with sort of this seafood stuffing and sort of this creme fraiche inside, sort of spiced chive creme fraiche, and it is deep fried, and it is one of the most delicious things I've ever had personally, and I think that your characters would probably be like, wow. Especially if you like octopus, and it's like perfectly tender.
It sounds so good.
There's,
And I can't do anything about it. It's 6 a.m. and I can't do anything about it.
yeah, there's
No takoyaki in sight.
there's 2
See,
lines.
I just live in rural Illinois, so I have no options.
I would say probably about another half an hour on that. So it would probably be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you actually stop for lunch and actually get to the Seaside Bathhouse. But there are 2 lines. It seems as if. So here's the other thing. You're just about done with your octopus balls by the time you reach the Queen's Gate, and you stop for Key, and Key has an apple. And as they kind of put the apple aside, you can see Key has this enormous bear claw about this big that is dripping with fresh glaze and sliced almonds and just smells heavenly. And it's like y'all had your takoyaki, and now here Key comes with the delicious fresh glazed sticky bear claw. And it's the actual pastry is a little bit sort of more flaky, and not soft like a cinnamon roll, but it's like perfect. You're like, oh, I wanted that. Like one of those moments.
I mean, y'all know Mabel's gonna be throwing baked goods at us.
Oh yeah,
later
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Key,
so...
how was your bear claw?
Oh, absolutely. Good bear claw.
Okay.
we should compile a list of all the pastries that we want and then be like, hey Mabel, nice to see you. Here's shopping.
We've got a small request list.
Small,
Unravels a
promise.
scroll that's 12 feet long.
Yeah.
All right. So about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, kind of character through best route. Just after 1, probably 1:15, about 10 or 15 minutes past the 1 o'clock bell. You finally make your way through the city. It's kind of warm. It's probably about 48 to 52 degrees. By the time you kind of make your way here. No, wait, sorry, I'm trying to think of the exact. Yeah, still early spring, so about 52 degrees as you kind of make your way here. It's sunny and bright, so it's a beautiful day. People are out, they're preparing for the spring holiday, and you make your way into the main entrance of what you're easily able to find as the Seaside Bathhouse. For legal reasons, I now have to say the Seaside Bathhouse is actually originally obtained through a purchase of a Wizards of the Coast property. This is an insert from Wizards of the Coast that was purchased through Roll20 from the. I fucking hate that I have to say this now for like the super. Okay, from the module Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus.
Ooh.
Okay. Legalese out of the way.
The sacrifices we make.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So the Seaside Bathhouse and its environs. It's an insert, and from Baldur's Gate, then into Avernus, and this is a full-color version of the original black and white maps, as seen in module. I'm very excited about. The L-shaped courtyard of the Seaside Bathhouse features a trimmed lawn and nicely manicured set of shrubbery. The yard is decorated with white marble benches and stone fountains, each in the form of a smiling nymph tipping a jug that spills water into a circular stone basin. It is lush, it is extravagant, it is just nice enough for a city of mostly military personnel, while still being humble. Folks come and go, and you can hear the gossip already from inside. You can hear the laughter and the conversation, and you can smell the fresh soaps from inside as you approach. Whether you decide to rest and relax here, the Seaside Bathhouse lies the Seaside Bathhouse, and your first lead on the investigation is before you. You know that Carmilla is known to both work at the Seaside Bathhouse and at the Berry Brothel. Whether or not she is here remains to be seen. But as you begin to pursue the trail of the governor's daughter, prepare for what lies next. That's where we're going to go ahead and conclude the session for the evening. Not necessarily on a cliffhanger, but on a new map with the investigation.
It's kind of a cliffhanger with that little whatever it is following us, peeking at us.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. And you kind of still have something following you. Whether it's friend or foe, you are certainly being watched.
Actually, while we were walking over, could I look around for Darius's raven specifically?
Absolutely. Perception check before we wrap up.
I believe in you. You have inspiration.
You shouldn't, and I am going to use the inspiration.
Okay, all right.
It went from a 7 to an 8 on the die.
Oh my god.
And my perception is a
Oh.
+0, so that's an 8.
Yeah, no, you do not see the three-eyed raven following you. But it's a very nice bathhouse. The soaps...
Takoyaki is so good, y'all.
Yeah, the octopus balls were heavenly. The bear claws were heavenly.
It's all
apples
sprinkled
were
in a dust of
delicious.
deliciousness.
Yes, yeah, basically. So yeah, that is, you have something following you, and knowing that there is lots to do on the trail of missing nobles. So let's go around the table and let everyone know what we have going on, and as we hopefully reunite with Mabel next time here at the Bathhouse, we'll kind of kick it off from there. So working in reverse order, Garnet, what you got going on in the meantime between now and our next session in 2 weeks?
Oh, hey y'all, I'm Garnet. I am usually hanging out on Twitter, being a goofball and talking about screenwriting. I make movies in my non-internet space. All of my favorites are on my link tree, so check those out and let me know what you think.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Garnet. All right, and Avalon.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Avalon. I voice act mostly. You can find me on Twitter, and I am on Twitch, of course, twice every couple weeks with ESP and D&D. Um, Super Suits is finally having its public release. I'm sorry, my brain is not operating at full capacity right now. Its second episode just dropped this past Monday, and will be releasing every 2 weeks. So let me double check the date on that real quick. Monday, March 6th should be episode 3's release. And of course, every 2 weeks from there. It's really freaking cool, and it's really exciting that it's finally releasing. It's been in development for a little over a year, and it's been such a ride. You definitely should check it out. Um, there's a musical episode.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Multiple, like basically everybody's a queer character, and the main character is non-binary, and there's a sassy robot, and it's great.
We love sassy robots.
Mhm,
One of my
mhm.
favorite tropes. Rory. What's going on?
Hi. Well, pretty much all I have going on lately is commissions. They are open. And you can catch me here every 2 weeks. Because that seems to be when I is with y'all. But
We love having you here, and we love the new avatar.
yeah.
Mhm.
And also commissions, and we have some commissions down the line that we're going to be having Rory do, so we're excited for that as well. And Renee.
Hello. As I mentioned before, my name is Renee. I have a channel. It's called No Ordinary Heroes. I stream gaming stuff, video games, indie games, story-heavy games. So if you're interested in seeing my little PNG tuber react to things and having my chat drown me in water redeems, because that happened last stream, you're more than welcome to join the fun. They're typically very chill streams, very vibey. Everyone's super nice. Don't have anything too special going on within the net. God damn it!
Hydrodactyl, right, y'all? Yeah.
At two?
In fairness, Renee,
At
streams
2?
are the only time you do actually drink water.
No.
You said something. I had to make it happen.
Just don't look at me, and mine never drinks water. Ah! I have iced
Boba is
tea.
enough of a sustenance, okay?
Right? I got my pride still. Love is love. Iced tea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, you don't. Someone said today that they want to see me get to a point where I'm like, I'm too dehydrated to die, like completely out of spite.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But anyways, if you wanna join the community, see what's up on the channel, you're more than welcome to. Yay.
And please do. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. So thanks everybody. We'll see you back here for Heavensfire in 2 weeks, and we will be conducting interviews this week for our next AP, Into the Old Margrave, which is Bards Gone Wild in the Woods. Himbos, Thembos, and Lady Himbos Gone Wild. Absolutely being completely oblivious of the world-ending threats that await them in the world of Heavensfire in the Old Margrave, which is in the Wildlands, also known as the Savage Lands, or the Gwynessas, or the Twin Sisters, up in the northwest beyond the Sentinel Fortress of Northwatch. So look out for that as our bards kind of just a gaily skip into one of the most dangerous places in the world, and do so with flair and gusto. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So casting announcements should be made by this Friday or Saturday. I'm hoping by this Friday at midnight. And we've already sort of, we're looking at almost a full cast already. So I'm just going to confirm. And once we get that confirmed, we'll let y'all know on Friday at midnight or Saturday by 3 p.m. And in the meantime, we'll be back here for Stormwatch on the 6th, Stormwatch Hearts of Fire. And this takes place during the Centuries War, 220 years prior to the events of Heavensfire. So check that out as well. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and say hello to our friends at Madbird Streams and Be Queer, Do Crime, all of the above. Be amazing. And we'll see y'all back here on the 6th on Monday for Stormwatch, and we look forward to seeing you in the woods of the Old Margrave. Okay, bye y'all.
Bye.
Bye.